Marlies, and you can feel the excitement in the air here for this launch. We've got Ronnie, one of the owners. They've even got the model rocket here. So can you tell us all about it?
So this model rocket was actually provided from NASA's a relationship we've had with them. So this is a 1/50th scale of the rocket. All right, and what they actually did, this is the same markings that are on the actual Artemis rocket, where we've got the America 250. So we're just proud to have that relationship with NASA, and they provided this sample of it for us here.
That is so exciting. You've also got a ton of merch. You've been selling out of it like crazy, I've heard, right? This is like your fourth batch.
Seven times we've reordered the Artemis merch.
Yeah, you can see it right there. The shirt that was up there actually sold out. We had to add another one over there, and you can see there's just so many people here. I was speaking with some people hanging out here. You visited from Jacksonville, right? So not too far of a drive, but you had to come here for the launch. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. There's a little bit of traffic getting close to here, but I mean, otherwise it was a pretty clear shot, and there's going to be a pretty clear shot of the launch too, I hope.
Are you going to be hanging out here the whole time?
Probably, yes.
It's a good spot. It's a good spot to be. You got the beer, you got all the vibes. So yeah, you can really feel all of the exciting energy here. We've got Donald, one of the other owners, and you're also a brewmaster. So what can you tell us about the beer, Donald?
So this originally was a pale ale back in 2022 that we did. And since it's the Artemis II flight, we decided we're going to do a double IPA this time. So it's a hazy, juicy double IPA, a lot of tropical, floral, citrus hops, like a really good, easy drink.
Nice. Well, I feel like I've got to try it, right?
Okay, of course,
so
absolutely.
We're all going to have some together. I really like the little play on the Artemis double IPA, like Artemis II. You get it, Melissa? He's pouring it up for us right now here. And we've also got Kyle, who's going to have a pint with us, right?
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, cheers, guys. So I also want to know a little bit about the actual can and the design behind it.
Yeah, sure. So our amazing Heather and our graphic designer developed this. And the kind of fun thing with it is there's a little Easter egg in there for all the space people. The lunar phase that's going to happen is accurate to this label. So the picture of the moon on there is accurate to the lunar phase. It's going to be really cool.
You've really thought all of this through. I love this. So I've heard this is probably going to sell out pretty quickly. How many are left?
Actually, of the cans, none. We've actually sold out of all the cans.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay, but there's a little bit left on tap.
on tap,
right?
yes, we have a little bit left. Probably maybe last through the week, I would say.
And we are filling crowlers to go, so you can still get it to go. You just can't get any more 4-packs. They're all gone.
I've got to say, this is really good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah, I really enjoy this. Very refreshing on this nice hot day. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully the launch is a go. I know everyone is so excited.
Absolutely, it's going to go.
Yeah, Marley, so cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Woo!
Cheers.
Cheers, Lauren. Enjoy yourself. All right, the news break. Headlines you need to know coming up with Garrett Weimer in just 3 minutes. We'll see you soon, Garrett.
Welcome back to the 407. I'm Garrett Weimer, and your news break starts now. 16 suspected child predators arrested in an undercover operation. The Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, announcing that earlier today in Osceola County. You can see the booking photos. Several agencies were involved in that effort. The suspects are allegedly used chat rooms and websites to target kids, even after undercover officers told them that they were talking to a 13, 14, or 15-year-old. That's video from that news conference earlier today. The Attorney General, joined by the Osceola County Sheriff and a number of other officials. Florida's new election reform bill has been signed into law and is also now already facing a federal lawsuit. It's the state version of the Save America Act, new proof of citizenship requirements. It also bans the use of student photo IDs for voting. Governor DeSantis, as you see there, signed that bill during a ceremony earlier today in the Villages. But a coalition of voting and civil rights organizations have already filed a lawsuit challenging it. They filed that in South Florida earlier today. Otherwise, that bill would be set to take effect after the 2026 midterm elections. And we know the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming to Orlando, playing their 2027 home games at Camping World Stadium, while their stadium in Jacksonville is being renovated. And at a news conference today, we're getting a little bit of a clearer look at what that season's going to look like. See the owner of the Jags there with the Orlando and Orange County mayors and the head of Florida Citrus Sports. Those officials spoke at a news conference today, as did Shad Khan, the owner, talking about their excitement for playing here. We know Camping World Stadium going to be undergoing some renovations. It's a $400 million project that's supposed to be done in time for those Jags games right here in the City Beautiful. That's your 407 News Break. I'm Garrett Weimer.
Garrett, thanks so much. The Artie Party continues right after the break. We have live team coverage for you all afternoon. And we're checking in with Marie Ettinger. Hi there, Marie.
Hi, Marlisa. I had not heard that we were using the term Artie Party until a few seconds ago. That's hysterical. I love that. And everyone else here is going to love it, too. I'm along the Max A. Brewer Bridge in Titusville. We're going to give you a look at the crowds that are forming and getting even bigger.
We're at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex for an out-of-this-world experience. We are launching into all things Artemis II today on the 407.
Jetty Party and countdown to the Artemis II liftoff continues. Marie Ettinger joins us live from Titusville, where the Max Brewer Bridge is shut down for a watch party. So, Marie, tons of people have been lining up. What are you seeing out there right now?
Okay, so we got here obviously this morning, and I was actually surprised at how sparsely this bridge was populated. There were still plenty of people, but there was, wiggle room. You weren't going to elbow your neighbor necessarily. Take a look at it now. Oh my goodness, and more people are still coming in, as you can see. You also saw an officer just pass by. That's been happening throughout the day too, just making sure everyone's, keeping kosher. I was just talking with a couple, Delana and Tony. They are from Georgia, so it was about a 7-hour drive. They came in a couple of days ago to stay in Melbourne, and they got here around 9 this morning. How has the day been going so far?
It's been good. It's been a little long, but there's plenty to do over here.
Excellent people watching.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys made any friends?
Oh yeah, right next door to us. Not too bad.
What made you guys want to come in? I mean, 7-hour trek, stayed a couple of days, and it's a long day with the kiddos.
Well, he is absolutely obsessed with the space stuff right now, so we had to come see Kennedy Space Center, and obviously while we're here, we got to catch the launch.
Such good timing. So,
yeah.
what are you looking forward to most?
Seeing how excited he is when the rocket goes up. So.
Yeah, it's historic. Do the kids? Has that sunk in for them that this is a big deal, or is it just?
Maybe not. I don't know. I think he just thinks it's really cool because it's going to be big and loud. He obviously is not going to understand, but we'll have pictures.
We'll get to tell him that he saw it.
Yes.
Okay, well, I hope you'll have the best day. It's really nice to meet you both. Thanks for chatting with us. So that's one couple. They're in from Georgia. I've been talking with people in from Ohio and Virginia. There's a guy here from England who we saw earlier. This place is just packed, and it's also people who came in from, 15 minutes away. It's anyone who wants to see this can come out and be part of this party. This is just the bridge. All along that side, if you can see, those are people who have been camped out, some of them for days. I talked with one man who said he's been here since Monday morning. There's another guy who got here later that day. He said this is his 9th time coming to this, and he keeps on coming back. I asked him what keeps on motivating him to see launch after launch, and it never gets old. We're going to see that later today, and we're going to continue chatting with people out here, Marlisa.
Oh, so many incredible stories out there, and you meet wonderful people. Marie, thanks so much for bringing us those stories. Our historical celebration is going strong right now at Jetty Park in Titusville. People have come from all over the world to be here in our backyard today. And that's where we find Bailey Bockover. So, Bailey, it's a great crowd out there, too, isn't it?
Hey Marlisa, yeah, it certainly is. This is just probably one of the most diverse crowds that I've seen in a while. We have people here from all over the world. Like, I have spoken to people from Argentina, Australia, Brazil, New York, California, you name it, they're probably here. And I want you to take a look at what we're seeing out here. Not only is it just packed, I mean, it's good luck finding a seat, but you have people that have been camping out here since early this morning. You have lawn chairs, coolers, kids that are missing school for this. They have their blankets. I mean, this is a whole ordeal. Everybody coming together tonight to witness history. Not to mention that this is a pretty great spot. We're about 15 miles from that launch complex, so we have a direct line of sight to that SLS rocket that will be launching tonight. Now, I want to introduce you to 2 new friends that I made today. This is Ella and Ari. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, where are you guys from?
Virginia.
You're from Virginia. Oh my goodness. And what are you most excited about tonight?
That the rocket's gonna launch up into the space.
Yeah. And what do you think it's gonna sound like, Ari?
Like it's gonna sound like a big post of noise.
Yeah? Like how big?
Like about this big. Like about that big.
Like that big?
Because it goes fast.
Oh my gosh, and it's gonna be so loud.
It can go this fast.
Wow! Oh my goodness. So now I have a question for you. If you were to go to the moon, what one toy or snack would you bring with you?
I would bring Cheez-Its and my manatee wristband toy.
I love Cheez-Its, and that manatee wristband toy you showed me earlier is so cool. What would you bring, Ari?
I would bring a Jaffy with my unicorn Jaffy And
unicorn stuffing?
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm also going to bring cake with cupcake.
Oh my gosh.
The cherry
Amazing.
on top of the cake.
My kind of girls. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I hope you have fun tonight. I'll see you later. They're done, but so adorable. Marlisa, we're having so much fun out here. We're going to be out here the rest of the night as this excitement builds. So for now, live in Titusville, Bailey Bockover, Fox 35 News.
Listen, Bailey, Ari is a girl after my own heart. She wants the cakes and the cupcakes. I'm sure we'll be able to make that happen by the time she goes to space. Bailey, thanks so much.
For sure.
They were so cute. Well, today's launch does not come without a few concerns, of course. The rocket launched back in 2022 and returned to Earth. But NASA officials kept a close eye on the spacecraft's heat shield during re-entry. Parts of that heat shield deteriorated, which led to an investigation and delayed the program for 4 years. Officials say the crew is still nervous about the heat shield today because temperatures can get up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is so hot. And if you're watching the Artemis launch today, we want to see your pictures. Your photos and videos of the Artemis II launch could be featured right here during our coverage throughout the night. All you have to do is scan this QR code right here on your screen. Super easy to do. And then you can share your mission moments with us. We'd love to see them and share with everyone else. All right, let's turn to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are officially coming to Orlando for the 2027 season. The NFL leaders voted unanimously to make that happen. And sports reporter Jonah Karp spoke with the Jags crew about bringing Duval to the 407.
When the Jaguars come here to Orlando in 2027, you might be going to a Jags game for the first time. And if so, be prepared to hear a lot of this. Duval. That's the chant, and you better get it right.
Duval has to stay.
How's your Duval chant? Have you been practicing?
Before I do it and embarrass myself, I think I'm going to have Mayor Deegan teach me a few more times.
The most important thing, and this is really key, and I think probably Coach Cohen had to learn this after his first attempt at Duval.
Duval.
Is the emphasis has to be on the ooh. So you got to really draw out the Duval. See? So you got to really, and then just come from the chest with it. You'll get there.
So in my notes is to say something about the Duval call and that I don't know how to do it yet. I'll learn it at some point, so I'm not going to attempt it up here today.
Give Orlando fans the crash course of a perfect Duval chant. What do you emphasize and where do you put the inflection?
Well, you got to go the inflection on do. So Duval. And so you got to make sure you have a draw out that do and then nail the vol at the end, and you'll fit right in.
People have to know how to say it. It's really, really important. So Duval. Got it?
Not just a county, it's a personality.
It's a personality. Yes, it's a state of being.
I think it was Duval. I'm going to get better at it, but I'm happy to do it if it means that we're going to have NFL football in Orlando.
Want to say it with me? Duval. There we go. I know you can do it.
So yeah, I know that when the Jags come here to Orlando in 2027, they're going to be in Orange County, not Duval County. I get that. But I guarantee you, while the Jags might be moving, the chant is here to stay. In Orlando, Jonah Karp, Fox 35.
Oh, now where were these lessons before the head coach got up there embarrassing himself? Bless his heart. All right, still to come, Artemis isn't the only thing launching. We've got details on a new Mario movie after the break. Welcome back. Within the last couple of minutes, we've learned of breaking news happening with the Artemis mission. We want to get right out to Fox 35's Esther Bauer at Kennedy Space Center this afternoon. Esther, what do we know so far?
The most important thing I did to...
Marlisa, so NASA just told us they are right now tracking a technical issue with the flight termination system. Now, this is what the astronauts would use after the rocket were to lift off. If they had to abort the mission, they would use this system to get away from the rocket, and right now there's a problem. So what we're dealing with, we're told, is a pretty unique situation, and I say that because right now, as we speak, someone that was with the closeout crew on the rocket behind me is literally being told to travel. They're heading right now where we're showing you back to the VAB, and what they're doing is they're trying to get a piece of hardware from the shuttle times to bring back to the rocket to now start troubleshooting what has gone wrong with this flight termination system. So what that means for us here at the press site is things are still moving as planned. You can see this countdown clock behind me is still moving, 1 hour and 38 minutes until launch. And the reason NASA feels comfortable and confident continuing on is because they have that time to troubleshoot. Also keep in mind this is a launch window, so once that opens at 6:24, it will stay open through 8:24. But again, this is not weather related. This is a technical problem that NASA is trying to figure out right now. This just came in. We are following it very closely, but NASA will not launch if it isn't safe. And Marlisa, teams will have to figure this out if we're going to see a liftoff later tonight.
All right, Esther, thanks so much. We still have a little bit of time until that window opens, and then a couple of hours that they have for that window. So we'll be staying on top of that for you all at home. In the meantime, our countdown to the Artemis II liftoff continues. We want to check back in with Lauren Margolis, who is at Playa Linda Brewing Company. So, Lauren, the crowds are growing there. I can see everybody behind you.
They are, Marlisa. We were inside before. Now we're at the beer garden. Donald, can you tell us a little bit about this area and what people will get to see back here, the kind of view that they will get?
Absolutely. So, no, it's kind of nice. Everyone right now is enjoying their beers and food and everything. And once the rocket gets ready to go off, you guys should get a great view just straight across over the trees. And then once it goes up and arcs over, so it's a very great view. So most people, they don't get seated. They'll actually get up and stand in the parking lot and kind of watch it go up. So
that is awesome. And I see a lot of people out here already saving their seats for later. We've got a crew over here. So are you guys excited?
Can't wait. Extremely. Can't wait.
Are you guys local, visiting? Where'd you come from?
Seattle.
St.
Augustine. My older brother.
He's from Tampa now.
Oh, you're in Tampa now. Okay. So we're all kind of local. How many launches have you seen?
Oh, multiple from St. Augustine. Saw him from St. Augustine. Saw him from Melbourne on certain assignments to do my work.
I've only seen one on a space shuttle a long time ago.
Okay, so how exciting is this for you today then, for the possibility?
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. I want to feel the vibration.
Are you guys just going to be hanging out here, enjoying the vibes and watching?
This is like the best place to be during a launch.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. How often, is this like your spot that you come out here?
I'm from Seattle. I've never been here before.
I thought you're from Tampa.
He's a liar.
Okay. It is April Fool's Day after all. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It is not.
It is, yeah. So how excited are you to be out here to get to see this?
1 out of 10 at 10.
There you go. They are all very excited. We've got lots of families out here. We've even got some dogs here to see it. I know if you can feel like the rocket as it's taking off here. I mean, I can't even imagine for our little pups. We've also got your coloring here. I mean, this is a great way to keep yourself busy while you wait, right? So how excited are you?
I'm super excited.
Yes. Where are you visiting from?
29 Palms, California.
Okay, wow. So everyone's from all over the place here just to see the launch. Enjoy your meal, and you got a great view out here. So, yeah. Marlisa, I mean, this is awesome. The fact that they don't got to get on with all the traffic or anything, like just really enjoy a beer, chill out, and got a great view.
And you get the color, too. Sounds like a win-win.
And color, too. Yeah.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. We appreciate you.
Here we are.
And the Artie party doesn't stop there. Other local restaurants are seeing big crowds of space fans, and they're launching Artemis II menus. David Martin shows us the special treats to celebrate the occasion.
A different kind of fuel up happened this morning in Titusville, the caffeinated and calorie kind, as many local businesses saw an uptick from the crowds in town for the Artemis II launch. Over at the 30-year-old Sunrise Bread Company, a specialty item on the menu.
This is a granita, Ground Zero granita. It is our frozen espresso milk and sugar mix with a special flavor. Then she's gonna add some whipped cream and our special space sprinkles today.
So that's going to keep you caffeinated and sugared up the entire day, which we're going to need because this launch is not until later on this evening.
Oh yeah, it'll last for a while. It's 32 ounces of the greatest thing we have in this shop.
At the Pier 13 Coffee Company, it's been a full-day latte party.
Today only, it's the Oreo Orbit, and it's a iced latte with Oreo and mocha, and a little vanilla.
At the 30-year-old Steve's Diner, there's a special Artemis soup on the menu today. Owner John hopes for a fabulous launch.
Very special day for Brevard County.
It totally is.
Yes, and hopefully it's a successful launch. Everything goes well, and they have many, many more.
When they do well, you do well.
Well, the whole community does well.
Absolutely. This is Steve's Family Diner, open every day?
Every day, except Easter.
Okay, good. Gotta take that day off. It's an important day, for sure. Thank you, my friend John, for sharing some time with us. Order the soup. What do you order when you come here?
Meatloaf Wednesday.
Is that why you buried the lead? What's the Thursday deal?
Leftover meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
That's funny. On the Space Coast, David Martin, Fox 35 News.
Such a good time. Listen, Artemis II isn't the only thing scheduled to blast off today. The Super Mario Galaxy movie was released in theaters today, and you better believe we are ready around here. We've got our sunglasses, we've got mugs, all types of things. The sequel to the 2023 blockbuster follows Mario into space. The movie features a star-studded cast. The movie follows Mario and the gang for a gravity-defying adventure that is out of this world. It's really the perfect way to keep the arty party going. So do yourself a favor, grab your popcorn and aim for the stars. And we're taking a live look at the rocket sitting there at the Kennedy Space Center. Oh, look at that view. The anticipation, I can't handle it. We've got a little more time until that launch window opens. Fox 35 is staying on top of that technical issue that we brought to you live here in the show. We'll have more updates coming up at 5. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Right now, the Kennedy Space Center is offering you the opportunity to experience some of the life of an astronaut. Lauren Margolis gives us a look at the exhibits all about Artemis II.
It's launch day and anticipation is building here at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. I'm a little bit too short for this. Maybe I'm not cut out to be an astronaut, but we know a few people who are. And we've got Russell here to tell us all about this exhibit where we get to learn about the astronauts going to space today.
Yeah, we have a crew of 4 getting ready to go towards the moon today. We're very excited about that. You know, one of the things that we have here at the exhibit are their bios. They kind of give you a little bit of, you know, the background on themselves, each of the crew members. Some of their personal artifacts and mementos, things that are important to them, are on display. So you can hear their voices, you can hear their story on video, but you can see some of the things that are important to them. So we have that on showcase as well. We're very excited about that, as well as some of the future of spacesuits. You can put on the helmets that they're going to be wearing, and some of the gloves. You can look at the history of the Orion capsule, which is obviously what they're going to be in when they go up for the launch later today. So everything in here is all about Artemis.
Yeah, and so can we talk a little bit about Artemis II, the mission, and what's happening today?
Sure. You know, we have people from around the world that have flooded the Space Coast. Everybody who has been talking about the traffic, the people, the energy. Here at the Space Center Visitor Complex, we have, you know, sold out. People are here to watch the launch, which is happening, you know, as we all know, 6:24, fingers crossed. The crew of 4 is going to launch, you know, from here at Kennedy Space Center towards the moon, go around the moon for their mission. It's Artemis II, so this is the first crewed flight on this rocket, and they're going to test, you know, what the deep space flight is like for them. Haven't been there in decades, and they're also going to check the vehicle for how it responds, and it's just the next path towards going back to the moon, and then what's after that, you know, so we're very excited about it.
This is a huge moment. You've got tons of people here ready to see this. So can you talk about the excitement in the air?
When you have a normal rocket launch, you know, we had 109 last year from here, which is a record. Again, it's like second year in a row we had a record, and we hopefully we'll set another record. But when you have a rocket launch in general, whether it's taking up satellites, whether it's a crewed launch, whatever, when you watch it as a group, it's kind of like going to a sporting event. You have that energy, you have that excitement. You can watch it at home, right? That's fine. But if you watch it with people, you kind of feed off each other. And for this one, this is a big rocket. It's going to make a lot of noise. It's going to rattle the windows, and it's going to be seen from all across Central Florida. So the people that are watching it here or be able to watch it in a group, they're going to be making a lifetime memory.
Yeah, and really seeing history before their eyes.
100%. 100%.
I guess we can kind of walk around a little bit too and just give people a feel for what it's like in here and all the kinds of things that they will see.
Sure.
What has been the feedback from the public getting to be so hands-on with this?
We are all about hands-on here. You know, our goal is to have, you know, the young minds inspired. And so NASA has poured into us, you know, this week, bringing in all of these exhibits to really inspire everybody, but really the kids. You know, they're the ones that are going to take the mantle and do the next phases eventually. And so we have the Orion kind of rocket over here. You get your hands on what looks like the kind of you know, diagram and all the cockpit stuff, and you can put your hand on the joystick and try to figure out a way to, you know, pilot this puppy. Good luck. I have no training on this either.
So many
but
buttons.
You can kind of learn all about this. The experts are here to kind of talk you through this, but this is kind of, obviously they're in the Orion capsule. This kind of gives you a sense of what the astronaut crew will be looking at when they go up as well. Everybody's kind of so excited about this. So we have that. We have different, the future of spacesuits on display as well. And so it's a lot of interactive exhibits, like you said, and so a lot of history, but also the future is also being written here as well.
Artemis II Pathway to the Moon closes the day after launch. Thank you so much, Russell, for showing us around.
Loved it.
We are here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. I'm Lauren Margolis for the 407.
Lauren, thanks so much. All right, it's time to give me something good. Today, Orange County breaking ground on a new animal shelter. A 6-year-old dog named Kika helped dig a hole to mark the official beginning of construction. The shelter will have housing for 265 dogs and 200 cats. The new facility is expected to be ready by the fall of 2027, just in time for when the Jags come to town. Remember, if you have someone in mind for this segment, give them a shout out right here on the 407. Just head to fox35orlando.com/your407 under the Give Me Something Good tab and send us a picture or a video. This is our place to come together. I'll see you soon. Fox 35 News at 5 starts right now.
After 5 decades of looking to the moon,
and God bless all of you on the good earth.
Today, we finally start the trip to go back.
One giant leap for mankind.
4 pioneers.
These individuals of Artemis II crew will be the first humans to fly to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years.
One mission. And the eyes of a planet fixed on the Space Coast. The most powerful machine ever built is alive on the launch pad, ready to break the bonds of Earth's orbit.
What strikes me is I'm proud that America is going back to the moon again. It's been too long.
From our sandy shores to the history books of tomorrow, the wait is officially over.
Isn't that something? Magnificent desolation.
Artemis II, the final countdown starts right now on Fox 35 News.
It is now T-minus 1 hour and 23 minutes until liftoff. Here is a look at the 4 astronauts. They are already strapped into their seats in the Orion capsule, locked in for their 10-day mission around the moon and back to Earth. They are going to go deeper into space than any humans have ever gone before. After 50 years of waiting, Artemis II is ready to blast off into the history books. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Luann Sorrell.
What an exciting day. I'm Manny Martinez. At 6:24, Artemis II is scheduled to lift off. Here is the SLS rocket right now sitting on launch pad 39B at the Kennedy Space Center. It towers 322 feet into the air. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty.
To mark this moment in history, we have live team coverage for you today. Fox 35 is up and down the Space Coast from the Kennedy Center to Jetty Park and every area in between. Let's send things out to Fox 35's Esther Bauer. So Esther, you're getting word that there's some type of issue with the rocket.
We are, and I literally hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this problem just popped up within the last few minutes. I'm told NASA is currently troubleshooting an issue with the launch termination system. This is what the astronauts would use if for any reason they had to abort the mission and get away from the rocket. So right now, NASA says they are doing an unusual thing to try and troubleshoot what is happening. I'm told someone that was working on the rocket at the pad right behind me is now being sent back over here to the VAB. And what they are going to be doing is getting a piece of hardware from the shuttle days to try and troubleshoot what is going on with this system. Now, as for the astronauts, they are still strapped into their capsule, just holding their breath. They will lift off later tonight. When you're moonbound, what is your last day on Earth really like? For the Artemis II team, the wake-up call wasn't too bad. They were up and at 'em at 9:25 in the morning and had breakfast. The traditional American astronauts' pre-flight breakfast is steak and eggs, and that menu dates back to the dawn of American spaceflight. Then they started final checks before getting into their life-saving suits.
If the cabin of the vehicle loses pressure, we design our suits to self-inflate and to maintain a pressure on the crew member for up to 6 days.
So they could survive in those suits for up to 6 days?
Yes.
Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen suited up at 12:40, got a weather briefing, and started the long road to liftoff.
It's super exciting to us. And of course, the crew taking the first woman and the first person of color farther than any human has ever been. In fact, farther than the Apollo missions went.
They spend several hours in the White Room before they're strapped into their seats.
History's going to look back at this week and be able to pinpoint like this is when it really started.
The crew will give their first update from space around 9:29 on Wednesday night and won't hit the hay until 2:54 on Thursday morning. And if you're wondering what kind of food they'll be eating, they have options. 5 hot sauces, barbecue brisket, and even couscous on board. And for the Canadian, maple syrup. And the good news for NASA right now is they do have time to troubleshoot. You can see behind me the countdown clock is still moving. That is a great sign to see. Also, keep in mind the launch window opens at 6:24, but they have 2 hours through 8:24 to get the rocket off the ground. So crews are absolutely troubleshooting what has now popped up, but right now the launch is still on. Reporting live in Brevard County, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Okay, Esther, thanks, with some great perspective. There are hundreds of thousands of people up and down the coast, from the shore to the inland areas, lined up to watch this historic launch.
Yes, let's get out to Fox 35 anchor John Brown. He is joining us live from Jetty Park right now. Hey, John.
Hey guys, good to see you. Yeah, big crowd starting to show up out here. When we got out here earlier today, there weren't too many people, but now that the rain clouds have gone away and the skies are perfectly blue, we're starting to see more and more people coming out here. Now, you keep hearing us say that Artemis II is the first crewed mission around the moon in over 50 years. It's historic, but a lot of people are wondering, what is the goal of all this? So think of this as a 10-day test drive for the Orion spacecraft. The whole point is just to make sure that the life support systems are 100% ready before we actually put humans on the moon for the Artemis III moon landing. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's make sure that the weather is going to be okay for today's launch. You've been watching it all afternoon long here. Just a slight breeze, but lots of blue skies out here. So we're going to send it back in to Noah. So Noah, give us an idea of what to expect over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, John, as you just said, perfect. The rain has moved out and the sun clearly is back out there by the launch pad on the Space Coast. So a couple of constraints we're looking for. First is lightning. We cannot have any lightning within a 10-mile radius of launch pad 39B. That's this red ring. Notice we have no lightning inside of it. We do have a heavy downpour near Mims, but that is outside of the range. Now, in terms of clouds, we cannot have any cumulus clouds inside the yellow. That's 10 miles. There are some cumulus clouds out by Titusville, but those are moving inland and should be safely out of the range by 6:24. No clouds 4,500 feet thick in the orange, and no thunderstorm remnants within 3 miles. We don't have that. So for clouds, we're looking good across the rest of the area. Those showers, like we talked about, are moving inland. They could obstruct the view, places like the Villages and Ocala, in about an hour or so from now, but we're still looking at an 80% chance that the weather is going to cooperate, again, starting at 6:24 and going out forward for 2 hours. And John, it is a good thing seeing your picture there with some blue sky out. And it did rain pretty good early this afternoon. There was about almost a half an inch of rain down at Port Canaveral.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had sideways rain coming for quite some time, coming from off the coast, going right across us here. But now, like you said, absolutely perfect. So not only is Artemis II a historic mission, but it could also be record-breaking in many, many ways. The crew is going to travel approximately 248,655 miles. If they hit that mileage, they're going to break the record for the furthest distance that humans have ever traveled away from Earth. Right now, Apollo 13 holds that record, but they're going to go a little bit further with this mission when they go around the dark side of the moon, and that's when it's going to be a record breaker. And speaking of travel, record-breaking crowds out here once again too. The Space Coast is practically gridlocked, a lot of the roads around here, because of the influx of people from all over the world. We've met people from Germany, from a lot of people from Canada, a few people from China, and of course people from all over Central Florida. So the Max Brewer Bridge in Titusville is shut down, and that's where you find Fox 35's Marie Ettinger. So, Marie, we got out here several hours ago. Wasn't too bad. How's it looking out there right now?
First of all, I want to say, John, I found the rain that you were just talking about. It is now on all of us here on the Max Brewer Bridge, but it's not deterring people at all. You can see behind me they are still lined up. That is one direction. It is just as crowded in the other. And it's not just over here. There are people camped all along the sides. I got to talk with a bunch of them earlier, and as you mentioned, people are coming from all over the place way ahead of time just to check this out. So I'll introduce you to a few of them.
excited for the rocket launch.
This is going to be a lot of people here.
People have come from far and wide to witness history.
The sound and the spectacle, the unity, the crowd. It's a tailgating event for nerds like me.
Lydia Davis and her husband brought their kids in from Cincinnati, Ohio to camp out for the launch.
I told them this morning that the last time there was a manned mission to the moon, I was not even alive. So I was trying to give them a little perspective of how unique this opportunity is for them.
Maddox Fraker is a high school junior in town from Northern Virginia. This will be his first time seeing a launch.
Thoughts on the crowd so far?
It's actually not that as bad as I thght it would be.
Others, like Ryan Rock, have been watching launches for years. He set up his campsite Monday morning.
Because it fills up. Yeah, I love it. You meet all kinds of great people.
All kinds of great people indeed. I do want to mention, though, these people are now going to be a lot safer. The bridge just shut down. I talked with Titusville police. They said it was kicking in at 5 p.m. and that when I saw the big SWAT truck, I know it had happened. That just happened right at 5. So pedestrians are able to go through a little bit more easily. Cars, though, you're stuck here for a little bit. That's going to go for another hour after the launch, just to make sure, again, that pedestrians can get back to where they're going safely. John, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Marie. You can see from Marie's shot, too, that's not quite blue skies there, but all that blue sky is working its way to her. So the people on that bridge are going to be hot very soon. So not only are thousands of tourists going to be watching the liftoff here on the Space Coast, the White House confirms the president will also be watching very closely tonight. But, of course, no pressure on the launch here, right? The White House writes in part, quote, during President Trump's first term, the Artemis program was formally established to return humanity to the moon. President Trump is excited about the next phase with this historic Artemis II launch. This effort will strengthen American leadership in space, usher in scientific discoveries, and serve as the proving ground for missions to Mars. So yeah, there's a lot riding on this mission tonight. So many different angles, so many historic moments about to happen out here tonight. We're hoping everything's going to go off without a hitch, and we'll be right here to show it to you when it does happen. Reporting along the coast, I'm John Brown, Fox 35 News.
John, thank you. We appreciate it. We will be here every step of the way. Well, if you are watching the Artemis launch today, we want to see your pictures. Send us your photos and videos of the launch, and we could feature them live right here on Fox 35 during our coverage. Just scan this big old QR code. Hard to miss. It's right there on your screen right now, and you can share your mission moments with us.
Excited to see all of those pictures.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming up on Fox 35 News at 5, the Jacksonville Jags are jumping zip codes, at least for a season.
So in my notes is to say something about the Duval call and that I don't know how to do it yet. I'll learn it.
Yeah, they're coming to Orlando for 2027, and Fox 35 is getting a crash course on the chant coming to the city beautiful.
Plus, a shot around the moon is creating a full circle moment here on Earth.
I remember the dust when they stepped, count around the boot and so forth.
I'll look back at boots on the ground as NASA prepares to make history once again.
And keep a close eye on that clock on the left-hand corner of the screen. Fox 35, we are counting down to liftoff. Our Artemis II team coverage continues in just 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Welcome back. Hundreds of thousands of people are on the Space Coast ready to watch Artemis II blast off. Here's a live look at Kennedy Space Center, Jetty Park, and Brewer Bridge. Tourists secured their seats early this morning. The Space Coast will be gridlocked until well after liftoff.
Yeah, one of the best spots to take in tonight's launch is at Jetty Park in Port Canaveral.
In fact, all of the day passes there are sold out today. So let's get out to Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie. She is out there with the campers joining us live. So Hannah, people must be really excited out there.
Luann, they sure are. Yeah, this one's not a great kept secret. Everybody knows Jetty Park is one of the best places to be if you want to catch a live launch. And I have spoken from people from all over. I've met people from Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Georgia, Wisconsin. The furthest away, Canada. Imagine that, eh? Yeah, well, there's a Canadian on the flight today, so they were very excited to talk about that with me. No matter near and far where people have shown up, though, as you can imagine, the excitement is brewing, just waiting just over an hour now. Take a look. The countdown is on and the excitement palpable at Jetty Park with a clear view of Launchpad 39B.
I love space. I love everything about this. This is my life.
Dressed to impress, Charlotte Allen is a self-proclaimed NASA nerd with a not-so-lucky track record for catching live launches.
I have not seen one. I've been up here and I'm 0 for 3.
Third time's the charm.
I'm not going to leave this state to drive back up to New Hampshire in this thing until I see this launch go off.
Allen planned this trip a year in advance. Janelle Bradbury, on the other hand, didn't know about the Artemis II launch until she woke up.
So, because we came here for 10 nights and it just happened to fall on the day that we're still here.
It's a full circle moment for Dean and Loie Braidaway.
Oh. And I bet we've seen
20 of them.
Yeah, I would say.
Probably.
They've watched some of the most historic launches, including the first lunar landing.
I remember the dust when they stepped, around the boot and so forth. It's very excited and very absorbed in that, and, we're glued to the TV.
Now, Loie tells me she was just 20 years old when she was crowded around that TV watching it all happen live. She says to be out here in person more than 50 years later, hopefully watching that rocket take off again and seeing those astronauts head back toward the moon, she said it was a privilege. Alrighty, live here from Cape Canaveral, Hannah McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
A privilege indeed. Thank you, Hannah. The countdown clock is ticking closer to the 1 hour mark until Artemis II lifts off from our Space Coast. Here's a live look at the radar that you see right there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. We are tracking some showers. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Bergeron is with us now.
Yeah, Noah, how are things looking over the launch pad right now?
Yeah, Luann, Manny, things are good in terms of the weather at the launch pad. For inland areas, we have some showers, which is good for the rocket going off, but bad for inland viewing. We've got some showers that are approaching the villages, Umatilla. So Ocala, the villages, friends, it may be hard to see if this goes off on time, given those showers. Right in Titusville, you saw Marie's live shot, a couple of showers by the Max Brewer Bridge. These will be done in the Titusville area in the next few minutes. All right, so in terms of cloud restraints, we do have right on the edge some thicker cumulus clouds about 10 miles out from the launch pad. So we'll watch those, but the expectation is that those will continue to move inland and out of the range of violation for the rocket. And now in terms of lightning, good news, look at the lightning strike counter at 0, just a little bit of rain out towards MIMS. We'll talk to you much more about the forecast in the next half hour, guys.
Noah, thank you. We are following some breaking Artemis news right now at the launch pad. NASA just gave us an update on that issue they're dealing with on the rocket.
Yeah, and Fox 35's Esther Bauer is back with us live. So Esther, it seems we're back to a go.
Yes, we are, and that is an update I am happy to bring you because I can tell you it was a pretty tense 20 minutes here at KSC. We told you they were troubleshooting a problem with the flight termination system. Now NASA just told us they were able to figure out that fix, and we are go for launch. Now I imagine there's a pretty popular employee right now because we're told someone actually had to go from the rocket pad right over here to the VAB, hustle their way over here to get some shuttle software. That's what they used to troubleshoot what was wrong, but now we're being told they figured out the fix and we are go for launch. NASA did just share some updates, so I'll go ahead and read them to you right now. They said engineers have now resolved an issue with the hardware that communicates with the flight termination system that would have prevented the ground from sending a signal to destruct the rocket if it were to veer off course during ascent. A confidence test was performed to ensure that the hardware is ready to support today's launch. Well, if the hardware is ready, I can tell you we are ready. Here at the press site, we are so excited to be inching closer to liftoff. Countdown clock hasn't stopped. 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 15 seconds. And every time I turn my head behind me, I literally see more people on the grass, more tripods, more hustle and bustle here at KSC. But happy to report the technical problem that lasted for about 20 minutes is now fixed. We'll continue to stay out here and bring you new updates as we have them.
Right. That is awesome to hear. Esther, thank you for bringing us that wonderful news about the Artemis rocket. We're almost there, getting closer, about an hour away now. We'll check back with you in a little bit, Esther. Thank you much. Well, coming up here on Fox 35 News at 5, counting down to Artemis and counting down to football season. More on the move to bring the big league to the City Beautiful.
And we are just over an hour away until Artemis II lifts off from our Space Coast. Our live team coverage continues right here on Fox 35.
We are now T-minus 58 minutes until liftoff. Here's a live look at Artemis II sitting on the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center. In less than 60 minutes, we're going to see NASA make history with the first lunar mission in more than 50 years.
And Artemis II isn't the only talker today. Camping World Stadium is about to be packed with football fans.
Can't wait. Fox 35 broke the news last night at 5. The Jags are coming to O-Town. And today we're getting a clearer picture of exactly what the 2027 season is going to look like for us here in Central Florida. Fox 35 sports reporter Jonah Karp is back on the football beat today.
When the Jaguars come here to Orlando in 2027, you might be going to a Jags game for the first time. And if so, be prepared to hear a lot of this. Duval. That's the chant, and you better get it right.
Duval has to stay.
How's your Duval chant? Have you been practicing?
Before I do it and embarrass myself, I think I'm going to have Mayor Deegan teach me a few more times.
The most important thing, and this is really key, and I think probably Coach Cohen had to learn this after his first attempt at Duval.
Duval.
Is the emphasis has to be on the ooh. So you got to really draw out the Duval. See? So you got to really, and then just come from the chest with it. You'll get there.
So in my notes is to say something about the Duval call, and that I don't know how to do it yet. I'll learn it at some point, so I'm not going to attempt it up here today.
Give Orlando fans the crash course of a perfect Duval chant. What do you emphasize, and where do you put the inflection?
Well, you got to go the inflection on do. So Duval. And so you got to make sure you have a draw out that do and then nail the vol at the end, and you'll fit right in.
People have to know how to say it. It's really, really important. So Duval. Got it?
Not just a county, it's a personality.
It's a personality. Yes, it's a state of being.
I think it was Duval. I'm going to get better at it, but I'm happy to do it if it means that we're going to have NFL football in Orlando.
Want to say it with me? Duval. There we go. I know you can do it.
So yeah, I know that when the Jags come here to Orlando in 2027, they're going to be in Orange County, not Duval County. I get that. But I guarantee you, while the Jags might be moving, the chant is here to stay. In Orlando, Jonah Karp, Fox 35.
Coming up at 5:30, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The future of space travel has us heading back in time. Plus, somebody called crowd control because the Space Coast is running out of space. Fox 35 goes inside a sea of onlookers ahead of liftoff.
gear touchdown. Hurley now deploying the drag chute. Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown.
That was 2011. The shuttle fleet was headed to museums, and for the first time in decades, Americans' path to the stars felt, well, uncertain. But now we are shifting our focus from the backyard of Earth to the doorstep of the moon. And that is our big story at 5:30. It has been a long 54 years of what's next for the Space Coast. But as you can see by the crowds lining the coast tonight, the wait is almost over.
The Luana historic launch brings more than just a view. Fox 35 anchor John Brown joins us live from Jetty Park. So, John, this mission has been a long time coming.
Yeah, it really has. You think about everything that happened since that video we took back in 2011. You see, today's launch is a lot about the future. We know that. But it's also a lot look at the history of this program. Because in this exact same spot, 15 years ago, I watched the shuttle launch. You know, it was kind of a sad moment because we knew that program was coming to an end and we didn't know what was left or what was next. But today, a lot of anticipation because a brand new program is paving the way for the future. Yeah, as you can see right here, this graphic shows the journey. It shows the best of the shuttle's heritage, the hardware, the boosters and engines. It's evolving into a deep space monster that you see ready to launch today. So what was old is new again. In less than an hour, the 4 astronauts are going to be in that capsule. They're going to ignite the most powerful rocket ever built and do something we haven't done in over 50 years, and that's leave Earth's orbit for the moon. But to understand how we got to this pad, you have to look back exactly 15 years. Back in 2011, the Space Shuttle Atlantis touched down for the very last time. It was the end of an era, the retirement of a fleet that built the space station, but one that was never designed to leave the neighborhood of low Earth orbit. When the shuttles went to museums, NASA faced a bit of an identity crisis. We spent a decade hitching rides to space while engineers worked behind the scenes to upsize our ambitions. They took the best of the shuttle, those massive orange tanks and powerful boosters, and evolved them into the SLS rocket that you see on the launch pad today. It wasn't a straight line. We've seen years of delays, budget debates, and the uncrewed Artemis I test flight back in 2022. But today, the test phase is over. This isn't just about flags and footprints like the Apollo days. This is about proving that we can live out there. Yeah, out there seems to be the big word right now because the anticipation for this launch is something that I haven't seen in a lot of launches lately. You have kids here who took the day off school because if you think about it, unless you're around the age of 60, you've never seen a launch going to the moon. So a lot of people want to be out here for this very special moment. And after today's launch, NASA then looks ahead to 2027. That's when another crewed mission is going to practice docking with the Starship and the Blue Moon landers. The year after that, it's the landing with the Artemis IV. Yeah, 2028 could be the year we see the first human footsteps on the moon in over 50 years. Then comes the Gateway. Think of that as a permanent pit stop for future lunar missions. So enough of the past and the future. Let's get back to the present because there's a lot yet to happen today. Fox 35's Bailey Bockover joins us live from Spaceview Park in Titusville. So, Bailey, it looks like you have a big crowd behind you, and I'm sure there's a lot of excitement there.
Oh my gosh, not just behind me, everywhere. This crowd is ginormous. We're talking thousands of people that have been camping out since the early morning hours just to snag a spot. Take a look at the crowd. Lawn chairs, coolers, plenty of kids missing school today, some even dressed in full spacesuits. It's a massive turnout. Daniel traveled here from Vero Beach with his family. He says this launch is particularly special to him.
Thank you.
I find it so interesting, and I love just space, and it's so just beautiful, and I love it so much.
The park sits less than 15 miles from the major launch complexes. That provides a direct line of sight across the water, allowing visitors to see the rocket from the very moment of ignition. The launch window opens at 6:24, so we're going to be out here with the crowd as the excitement builds. Live in Titusville, Bailey Bockover, Fox 35 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Bailey. A couple more nuggets before I send it back to you guys in the studio. The launch pad is going to be directly behind us over there. That's the same launch pad where they launched a lot of the Apollo missions and also a lot of the shuttle missions. So it is kind of a look back to the past there. But a couple more things. We've heard so many times about how tall this rocket is. We've heard it's bigger than the Statue of Liberty. Let's put it to some local perspective. What we all call the eyesore on I-4. It's the exact same height as that building. So when you drive by it next time, think, that's how big this thing is. But how small? The Orion space capsule, it's the size of 2 minivans put together. You have 4 people in 2 minivans with a little kitchen galley and a little curtain for a bathroom. So these astronauts have known each other for quite some time. They're about to get to know each other very, very well over the next 10 days. All right, I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio.
Yeah, John, we were wondering, did you bring some like earplugs? Because this launch is going to be incredibly loud out there.
Okay, Luann, you know me. I'm deaf in one ear, so actually, okay. I have my earpiece in this ear. Everybody else can have ear protection. I'll be like, what's going on? Oh, there's a launch over there. So.
That's funny.
I'll be okay, but I will say this. A lot of the buildings around here, they're worried about the cracks. That's how big of a launch this is going to be. It's the biggest one ever. So, that may be a story down the road, and wow, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to experience it because everybody's definitely going to feel it.
Yeah, it's definitely a moment I don't think you're ever going to forget. They said 20 miles away, people are going to hear these things. So, all right, John, we'll check back with you in a little bit. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Well, here is a look at the flight timeline today. As we've been saying, at 6:24, the Artemis II rocket will blast off, fingers crossed, and then 2 minutes and 12 seconds after that, the 2 boosters will separate. Then 8 minutes into the launch, the main engine will cut off and fall away. The crew will stay in Earth's orbit for 24 hours to test the life support systems before they get slingshotted to the moon. And as they pass by the dark side of the moon, they're going to lose contact with Earth for about 45 minutes.
Captain Winston Scott joins us live via Zoom. He's a retired Navy captain and former NASA astronaut. Captain, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, what are these astronauts thinking as we're now within 45 minutes of liftoff?
They are so excited about liftoff, and what they're thinking is, I hope nothing goes wrong and we have to abort and try again later. We want to get the show on the road. That is what they're thinking. They're ready to go, believe me.
Yeah, Captain, we know this launch is a first on many different levels. They're going to travel the farthest they've ever traveled. We have the first woman, first person of color, first Canadian to travel to the moon. Tell us about these amazing astronauts on board the rocket.
Oh, absolutely. They're so impressive people, and we're so proud of them all. And when you get to my age, and this is the next generation coming along, you can say that. And the thing that is so unique and so wonderful is just what you say. Talk about the diversity. When I was a little kid in elementary school, the Mercury program was just beginning. And of course, the Mercury astronauts were all white men. There were no women. There were no people of color. So it was something that did not seem to be a reality to minorities and women. Well, those things have changed, and we understand there's talent in all sections of our community, and we see that talent reflected on this crew. Also, the international nature of it. You know, we had Jeremy from Canada. The Canadians have been our partners in space for a long time. So the point is, space is one of those uniting activities that can bring people together from around the world, and I think that's a very, very great asset to our space program.
Yeah, one more question before we let you go, Captain. Kind of break down the goals of this 10-day mission. It's kind of a long time to be in outer space in such cramped quarters. What are we hoping to learn from this mission?
Actually, it's not all that long. My second space shuttle mission was 16 days long. Now, we were only in Earth orbit, but we were in orbit for 16 days. And it was like 6 people living in a camper, a Winnebago. But the point is, they're going farther than any people have ever gone before. And not only are they conducting an end-to-end test of the vehicle, its systems, but also the human compatibility. We want to be sure the life support system is working properly. Be sure the astronauts can maneuver the vehicle. They're actually going to take over and fly manually some proximity operations, determine how well they can manually fly the vehicle. How well can they live there? Can they eat, sleep, live, and conduct experiments from the vehicle? So the human vehicle interface part of it is very important, and this flight is going to allow them to test that.
All right, former astronaut Captain Winston Scott, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We're going to talk with you just a couple minutes before liftoff in our 6 o'clock hour, so don't go anywhere. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. Well, coming up here on Fox 35 News at 5, the 4 astronauts are not the only ones blasting off into space.
Why a cuddly stuffed animal is also hitching a ride on the rocket. Plus, out of their minds or just out of this world. Still ahead, meet the brave faces blasting off from our space coast. And no mystery camera today. We think everyone knows exactly where this is. Just another stunning shot of Artemis II. Look at it glowing on the launch pad. Our live team coverage continues right after the break.
To our Artemis coverage, it is America's first mission to the moon in more than 50 years. 45 astronauts were in the running to be a part of Artemis II.
And as Fox 35's Craig Patrick shows us, NASA leaders pick the final 4 based on experience, knowledge, and leadership.
We stand on the shoulders of giants as we reach farther into the stars and push forward to the moon once again and on to Mars. These individuals of Artemis II crew will be the first humans to fly to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years.
We've known their names for nearly 3 years now. The crew that'll be the first to make that 250,000-mile journey to the moon in a half-century. A decorated and experienced team getting ready to make history in their own right.
For me, there's never really been a time when I didn't want to be an astronaut. Going back as far as I can remember, it's what I always dreamed of.
Meet Mission Specialist Christina Cook. She has the longest continuous space flight of any female astronaut. She'll be the first woman to leave Earth's orbit.
The thing I love about the moon is that it's not just a beacon for exploration and this platform of possibilities for incredible missions like this, but it has benefits. That's actually why we're racing towards it.
Pushing ourselves to explore is just a part of being a human.
Pilot Victor Glover. He's a naval aviator and test pilot who's flown more than 40 different aircraft, including the first operational commercial crew mission.
You know, there's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we are going together, and our mission success is built on handing off a starting point to Artemis II that sets our country and our partners up to go back to the surface of the moon. And so I just think about legacy.
Being asked to fly on Artemis II was a humbling experience for me.
Now meet Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. He's a master of science and physics, an F-18 pilot, and a Canadian astronaut. His place in the voyage is the result of generations of international friendship and cooperation with NASA.
For humanity, it's just critically important right now that we know what we're trying to achieve. And collaboration needs to be the ultimate goal if 8 billion of us are going to have a bright future on this planet. And so as we come around the far side, just having humanity stop for a moment and say, wow, look at what we can do when we work together. Let's just set goals to do a better job of that on this planet today.
To me, it's just the most awe-inspiring moment.
And leading the crew, a decorated naval aviator and test pilot, Commander Reed Weissman. 3 years of training has turned them into a close-knit team.
You get to that point where you do not have to communicate any longer. You're just listening to everything happening, and all four of us are watching each other and the mission, and we do not need to speak, we just know. I can just see the corner of an eye and know exactly what is happening on that person.
The crew of Artemis II will be diverse, international, and experienced at long-term missions in space. Their mission patch features a symbol A2, but it's not lost in the team that it looks like the word all. They hope to provide a moment of unity and a poignant bookend to that iconic image from Apollo 8, taken back in 1968 as a world device.
Flying around the far side of the moon, coming around, seeing that Earth rise, taking images and video and sending them back to you. The feeling that I have inside is hope.
And I wonder if there will be a difference after we go back, with young folks especially thinking not only we've been there, but we're going there. That's our future.
Well, here is a live look from the Launch Credit Union camera over at Port Canaveral. There have been a lot of showers on the Cape today, but hopefully most of that has moved out. Let's check in once again with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren.
So Noah, weather-wise, since we last saw you, launch probability has gone up.
The weather's clearing out as expected. Now 90% for go there.
Great.
So it looks like at this point it'd be something mechanical that's going to obviously be the biggest impact, because the weather's good out there now. But for inland, we do have some clouds that are lingering. So your visibility could be a little obstructed if you're west of Orlando. But just a fast update for you. A couple of things here real quick. 90% chance of weather being a go. 624 starts the window. We're still keeping an eye on some lingering clouds out there out towards Launch Pad 39B. These are the radials for cloud constraints. So essentially we can't have any clouds that are big inside of these circles. And all the thicker clouds out by Titusville and Mims are now moving away outside the 10-mile radius. So that is some good news. We also cannot have lightning within 10 miles. We do not. No lightning strikes, so that is good as well. Now, we don't have to just focus on the local weather. We have to look downrange at the wind shear high up in the atmosphere. This will launch out into the Atlantic, almost due east, taking advantage of Earth's spin, and all of the wind high up in the atmosphere is very calm out there. So, guys, the weather is going to cooperate.
All right, Noah, thank you. Still coming up, have you ever seen a plush toy in zero gravity? Let that thought float around for a second. Fox 35 is meeting the mascot that's ready to rise to the challenge.
Artemis II is staffed with a 4-person crew. Well, technically 5, maybe 4.5. Actually, it's 4 1/4.
He's small.
Yeah.
Meet Rise. This plush cutie is the team's mascot, and it's about to blast off into space as well. Rise may be a toy, but it's also a zero-gravity indicator. Its purpose is to fly with the crew. Once they're in space, Rise will alert them that they have reached zero gravity. But Rise is no ordinary toy. Inside is a memory card filled with the names of more than 5.6 million people. Those individuals submitted their names through the Send Your Names with Artemis campaign. It was an opportunity to have their name be a part of NASA history.
When we zipped that little pocket up, it was a bit more emotional than I expected. Just that act of seeing that little memory card with everyone's names, everyone's hopes that are going on this journey with us. We always say we're going for all and by all, and zipping that little pocket on the bottom of Rise was kind of the moment that put it all together for me. We are going for all and by all. It's time to fly.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of people with them. And one other cool fact about Rise, it was designed by a 2nd grade student from California. Here's his reaction to finding out his design got picked.
Really, really, surprised and very happy.
Do you think he was surprised, Manny?
I think so.
So if you watch NASA's live feed, be sure to keep an eye out for Rise. Well, coming up on the News Edge at 6, our countdown to Artemis coverage continues.
And we'll start with Fox 35's Esther Bauer.
Coming down off the West Coast.
We are live here at KSC, and NASA is running into problems. They just fixed one, but another just popped up. Coming up, how bad batteries could cause a scrub here on the Space Coast.
Now, let's hope that doesn't happen, because you have so many, hundreds of thousands of people who are here to watch it. They're watching by land, they're watching by sea, and it's a lot more than just about a launch today. This is about 100 years in the future. All that and more coming up right here on the News Edge at 6.
Our special live coverage in 2 minutes.
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News Report. We are just minutes away from NASA's historic Artemis II launch. 4 astronauts will blast off from Florida and circle the moon. It'll be the first time since 1972 that humans have flown that deep into space. NASA hopes to land Americans on the moon by 2028. President Trump will address the nation tonight with an important update on Iran. That war began more than a month ago after joint U.S. and Israeli strikes killed Iran's supreme leader. President Trump says he's also considering pulling out of NATO over member nations' refusal to help with the effort. And ahead of his address, President Trump making an unprecedented appearance at the Supreme Court. His birthright citizenship order being argued today. The justices appeared skeptical of White House efforts to end automatic birthright citizenship, a provision of the 14th Amendment. Some analysts say it could be a narrow decision. The trial of the man accused of murdering a United Health CEO has been pushed back by a month. A federal judge ruled jury selection will begin on October 5th in the federal trial of Luigi Mangione. Mangioni's attorneys argued they needed more time between his state and federal trials. And an Indiana man is accused of stealing a Bud Light truck, then crashing into a police cruiser during a wild chase last week. He now faces multiple charges, including attempted murder. Stay here for the Artemis II launch coverage and President Trump's address tonight in Washington. I'm Bill Malugin. Have a great night.
They say the sky's the limit.
3, 2, 1.
But tonight, we're just getting started.
1 giant leap for mankind.
54 years ago, we took a giant leap. But in a matter of minutes, we're taking the long jump.
Liftoff at dawn, the dawn of Orion. This view of Earth captured from a human-rated spacecraft not seen since 1972.
4 astronauts are strapped in and ready to shoot for the moon.
Isn't that something? Magnificent desolation.
The engines are primed, the world is watching. And for this crew, failure is not an option. Apollo paved the path. Artemis is taking the shot.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now.
Fox 35 is live with team coverage of Mission Control back to the moon. Well, the moment is almost here. We are about 23 minutes away from Artemis II lifting off from the Space Coast. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm Manny Martinez. The mission is taking 4 astronauts on a 10-day trip around the moon. It's the first time we've gone back to the moon in more than 50 years. We have live team coverage of today's historic event. We have reporters up and down the Space Coast. And we begin with Fox 35's Esther Bauer live at Kennedy Space Center. Esther, crews have been running into some issues as we count down to liftoff.
Guys, so they are finding some issues, but they're also finding some solutions. This is great news. NASA just posted literally 2 minutes ago a problem with a battery has now been resolved. So they say engineers investigated a sensor on the launch abort system's attitude control motor controller battery that showed a higher temperature than would be expected, but it is believed to be an instrumentation issue and will not affect today's launch. This is amazing news. NASA really has their A game on. They have now been troubleshooting multiple fixes within the last hour. But guys, NASA says we are go for today's launch. This is incredible because we have this crew, this international team of 4 strapped into this capsule right behind me with that rocket in the pad. I can only imagine how they've been feeling hearing, okay, there's a problem here, there's a problem here. Are we going to lift off? Let's talk about these iconic suits that they're wearing. The iconic orange suits aren't just for show. They are designed to keep the crew alive if the cabin has an emergency at any time during the flight. Each suit was custom made to each astronaut so they can move freely and stay comfortable. The suits monitor temperature and pressure for the astronauts. The suits also have cooling capabilities, fire resistance, and interfaces for eating and drinking through the helmet. A lot of the design is from the shuttle days, but they've been upgraded with high-tech communication capabilities. The suits can also keep the astronauts alive for several days in space if anything unexpected happens in the capsule.
If the cabin of the vehicle loses pressure, we design our suits to self-inflate and to maintain a pressure on the crew member for up to 6 days.
So they could survive in those suits for up to 6 days?
Yes, and it's 6 days for a reason. We're the lifeline for the crew, and with that, we do as much as we can, learning from what we've been through before.
And the good news for NASA tonight is this is not an instantaneous launch, meaning once we hit 6:24, they have 2 hours from 6:24 to 8:24 to get the rocket off the ground. But guys, so far, so good. 2 problems fixed within the hour, and the countdown clock is now 20 minutes and 1 second. Absolutely incredible. So we will continue to stay out here at KSC with live updates from the press site. But another great news from NASA, weather started at 80% go, just moved up to 90% go. So looks like Mother Nature also wants to get this rocket to the moon. Reporting live in Brevard County, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Yeah, seems like everything is working in our favor this afternoon. And as Esther was saying, you know, weather is always a major factor on if these rockets can safely launch.
Yeah, Noah was talking yesterday about the clouds and how thick they are, but Noah, it seems that they are starting to move out of the Space Coast.
Yeah, best viewing, Manny, Luann, is going to be up and down the I-95 corridor. Laurel and I are here looking at the cameras, and even up to Daytona, Flagler Beach, it's pristinely clear now. But inland, there are some clouds that could obstruct the view. But in terms of the launch going off for clouds, we need no cumulus clouds within 10 miles. That's the yellow circle around launch pad 39B. And notice all of the clouds are pretty much gone. So we have no cloud constraints to violate for launch protocol. Lightning, no lightning within inside of 10 miles or 30 minutes. We don't have that. We haven't had any lightning within inside of 10 miles today. Now here's when you will see Artemis 10 to 70 seconds after the launch. So in Orlando, pending clouds at your location, 20 seconds after we get to 0 and it launches, you'll see it. 20 seconds Deltona and Daytona. If you're back closer to Ocoee and Winter Garden, the Villages, it's about 30 seconds after the launch. You'll see it on the horizon looking to the east. And then out towards Gainesville and Tampa, it's about 40 seconds. Now, you may actually hear this. The speed of sound is about 767 miles an hour. So at the edge of this yellow shade we've got on here, in about 3.5 minutes after launch, you may hear a roll or a loud rumble. That's the rocket going up. Now, this is not a sonic boom. This is not a SpaceX launch where there's a rocket, there's a booster coming back to Earth that creates a shock wave and the sound goes back down to the ground. There's no sonic boom here. It's just a loud rolling rumble that will emanate inland. And thanks to the east wind, it'll help carry those sound waves inland. So you may hear it closer to Orlando and Lake Mary about 3.5 minutes after launch. And if you're curious, we always launch mostly these spacebound rockets due to the east because we take advantage of the Earth's spin, which is moving at about 1,000 miles an hour, helps to give the rocket an extra boost as it gets out of our atmosphere going in the east out towards the Atlantic. And the weather, by the way, high up in the atmosphere over the ocean is also very good. So guys, good news for the weather front. The showers are moving away, but inland you might have a little bit of cloud cover obstructing your view around the city.
I like it, Noah. Thank you. 17 minutes to go, and there are hundreds of thousands of people all along the Space Coast ready to watch Artemis II blast off.
And Fox 35 anchor John Brown is live tonight at Jetty Park. So, John, what are you seeing out there?
Well, it's interesting you guys are saying the hundreds of thousands of people lined along the coast. We've been here, right here next to the jetty, and you can see boat after boat after boat going out that way so they can get a better view of this launch. Now, of course, they can't go too far because they don't want to get in that launch zone, but a lot of boats are hanging out just pretty close to where this inlet becomes the ocean. What a great spot to watch today. Have we been out here all day? It's been windy, it's been rainy, sideways rain for a while. About an hour ago, it all burned off. Perfectly beautiful blue skies, so looks like we're about ready for a launch here. Okay, so you know what, today when people wanted to come out here, well, a lot of people found out that all the day passes here at Jetty Park in Port Canaveral were sold out. That's how popular this thing was. So Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie is out here with me. We've been out talking to people all day long. So Hannah, you talked to some people who've made quite some trips today.
I sure have, John. In fact, I've made a lot of friends out here today, and I'm hanging out with one right now. This is Nancy. She's got her whole crew here, and unlike most of the people who I've spoken with, they're actually Floridians. They live here in Florida. They've got a front row seat right now because just in front of us, Launch Pad 39B, that is where this rocket will be going up shortly from now if all is greenlit. Nancy, talk to me about this view. How excited are you to be out here?
Well, I can't even express it. It's a dream come true, really. We've been here since early this morning, got camped out, and I just can't believe I'm here. It's incredible. It's a little bit sentimental to me. I was a kid of the 60s and early 70s when the space program was a thing, and we're back again, and I'm in Cape Canaveral, which it's just a dream come true, and I'm with my people, and I'm just having the best day ever.
The best day ever, and it was just topped off because we were just watching dolphins. They're actually over by the boat right now in front of us.
What a Florida day. We've had dolphins, turtles, and 2 manatees, and let's do a rocket launch, okay?
Yeah, let's top it off with a rocket launch. Let's do it. Let's make it a peak day. All right, Nancy, you said you've been over to the Space Center to actually watch one go up close, but you're saying a little bit of a Florida secret here. This is the place to be.
I was lucky enough to do a tour of the Kennedy Space Center. I had the best time, got to take my granddaughters, watched a launch, just a satellite launch. But today, with all of these people and the vibe, it is so much fun. It's just a party and everybody's here to support. And I just want to say my prayers and Godspeed to the crew. Artemis II, this has been the best.
And you're ready to camp out here as long as you need to. We know this launch window opens shortly, but we do have that 90 minutes that we could kind of have a buffer zone.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nobody's going anywhere.
And we just pointed out over here, the cooler is stocked. You guys are clearly doing it the right way. You've got the stemmed glasses and everything. This is how we do it.
Not just us. If we wanted to leave, we couldn't even get out of here. This place is the spot.
You know what?
It's the place.
Nancy, that brings us to a perfect point. So Maxborough Bridge in Titusville currently shut down right now. In fact, that is where we find Fox 35's Marie Edinger. So Marie, I'm going to toss it over to you right now. Nancy, thank you so much.
Right now, I am on an absolutely packed bridge. John Brown had mentioned that it was about to get hot, and I feel it sinking in right now. It's the humidity radiating off of me. It's not bothering a single soul, though. Everyone's still so excited, and they have been out here for hours, and so now that the time is really ticking closer and closer to the launch, you can feel that energy kind of picking up. I've just been chatting with some guys who are at Embry-Riddle. A couple of them are from Washington, not sure about the whole group, but tell me about being out here today. What's it been like throughout the day?
It's been a little bit rainy, but other than that, it's been nice weather.
What's the most exciting person that you've met?
Honestly, these guys, to be honest. No, they've been great, and been great to watch, hopefully, the launch today. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been really busy here, a lot of people coming out, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Is this the level of crowds that you were expecting?
I don't think it's too bad. I was expecting it to be a little bit worse. I'm really glad that we got a spot out here, have a really great view, and yeah, looking forward to seeing the launch.
What time did y'all come in the morning? So you drove in from Daytona?
Yeah. We got here probably about 1:30. We left at about noon, and we were lucky to get a spot. There was already a lot of cars.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to come around to talk to you back here. You've been looking out. You're also watching live the updates. What's it like? As I mentioned, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. We're almost there.
It's surreal. It kind of feels like you're a part of history. This is like a modern day Apollo. It's really cool to be a part of that, even if it's just from here.
You absolutely are a part of history. Is there an element of the launch, like the brightness, the sound, or just the community? Is there something that you're especially looking forward to?
The sound, definitely. I think the sound, it should be pretty loud. I've been to maybe 6-7 launches here on this bridge, and it's so loud. So it should be great.
Okay, I have fun sound facts. Thank you guys so much. It's lovely to meet you all. There's not going to be a sonic boom on this one. The speed of sound isn't going to be broken until we're higher up in the atmosphere. We're not going to hear that. You are, though, going to hear this insane rumble. When you're here on the bridge, you can feel it in your stomach. It's crazy. It's really exciting. It's one of the things people are most looking forward to. People keep bringing that up throughout the day, along with just the brightness and everything. It's going to be incredible. This is just one side of the bridge. There's a whole bunch of campers on the other side that have been here for days awaiting this. So we're hoping it goes off without a hitch. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marie. Yeah, I mean, you can really start to feel the excitement. This is history. We haven't seen something like this since 1972. And you think about your grandparents talking about seeing these moon missions, and we're about to witness it today. Just about 10 minutes away. And Fox 35's Bailey Bachhover joins us live from Spaceview Park. That's in Titusville, of course. So, Bailey, excitement building on the bridge. I'm sure that viewpoint for where you are, it's really got to be exciting there.
All day, and I did not think I could
looks
get
like we
this
lost
packed.
Bailey
There's
there.
pretty much no room to walk.
All right, I hear Bailey. Okay, so we're having some issues there with the signal, but as you can imagine, and that was one of the big issues here. Okay, do we have Bailey again? I'm going to send it over to you, Bailey. We'll try one more time, get your view. All right, take it away, Bailey.
Alrighty, there's so many people here, so probably the interference, John, but it is packed, and I've never seen it like this before. So I want you to take a look at the crowd, the sea of people that we're looking at right now as everybody is getting ready to witness history. Take a look at the pier that's completely full, and the bridge. We have people lining that entire bridge. It is just crazy out here. We have everybody in lawn chairs. They brought their coolers. They've been camping out here all day long. Some people came specifically out of town just for this. It's truly incredible. Now, this is not a bad place to be, considering we're about 15 miles from the launch complex. We have a direct line of sight of this rocket that's going to be taking off here very, very soon. And speaking of, I want to introduce you to two new friends that I made today. This is Henry and Brian. How are you doing out here today, Brian?
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Very good. Where are you from?
From Daytona Beach with Henry.
You're from Daytona Beach as well?
Well, we live in the same building, yes. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, retired in Daytona Beach, yeah.
What are you guys most looking forward to today?
What are we looking for?
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for a shuttle launch, obviously, hopefully, 6 624, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, now have you ever seen a launch before?
I've seen some smaller, like a Delta IV launch down here.
Yeah.
A lot of SpaceX launches, of course, but nothing this big.
Yeah,
Nothing this big.
absolutely incredible.
Not since the Apollo program.
Yeah, no, exactly. Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Good luck. I mean, it's going to be fun, right?
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you very much. You got to pan over, take a look at those kids up there in the tree. That's the best spot over there, right there.
No, they really do have the best view, don't
Yeah,
they?
that is where I want to be up there.
I think they would look at us funny.
I think so, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much. Alrighty, well, that launch window opens up at 6:24. We're going to be out here before and afterwards for all the excitement. John, I'm going to pass it back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bailey. Yeah, looking at the clock, it's about 9 minutes away. So I want to go back to the historical aspect here for just a second because I'm a huge history buff. And, you know, there's only a few moments in time that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I remember being out here for the last shuttle launch. We were here for the launch. We were over on the runway for the landing. And I've probably told that story hundreds of times about how cool it was to see that piece of American history. And here we are once again in Central Florida, seeing something that's never been done before. You know, there's competition here. We want to get to the moon before China. China's in 2030. We want to get there in 2028. So you have that aspect of it. You have the scientific aspect of it. You have the health and human aspect of it. There's so much here to be excited about. So I just hope that the clouds continue to burn off so people over in the Orlando area can see what we're about to experience here. So as a reporter, you're here to cover what you see. But as a person, I'm excited to see what's about to happen here because there are so few moments that you do remember like this. I'm going to bring in Hannah. She's right here with me. We've been out here working all day long. Hannah, you've been talking to people all day. What are your thoughts? I mean, I'm getting excited seeing the other people getting excited.
I feel silly saying this, but John, I will say, it kind of brings tears to my eyes. I get emotional, and a lot of people that I've spoken with today are in the same boat. So I'm getting feedback from that, so I'm gonna take that out. But a lot of people in the same boat. You know, it's for some people they were out here and they remember watching the initial Apollo lunar landings, and it brings back so many kinds of memories for them. For me personally, obviously, I wasn't in that age range, but to know that mankind is making these huge steps, you know, and we are doing space exploration, like you said, the space race. It's all going on right now in our history. And it's really neat to be a part of it, to be a part of history. This is what the kids, you know, 20, 30 years from now are going to be learning about, and we're living it. How cool is that?
Yeah, that is really cool. So I think I was hearing, we were hearing a feed there. We've got a 10-minute hold right now, not that unusual. A 10-minute hold to make sure the last-minute things get done. As you've heard Esther Bauer say all day today, it's been very smooth up until this point. If you look over the NASA notes, this is all expected. They talked about the L- countdown before you get to the T- countdown, two separate countdowns. That's why you heard the L- all day. Now we're about to enter the T-. So that's where we're getting into. So don't be too alarmed yet. We haven't heard of anything that might be causing this. So just so you know what's going on, L- versus T-, that means we're getting close to the end here. But, you know, Hannah, for me, you hear these stories from your elders. I might be the only one on the staff who was born before 1972. So, you know, but I don't remember this. You know, obviously you're too young, so unless you're 60, you probably don't remember this. But you think about how fondly they talk about these moments when they got to see a man walk on the moon. You know, we're not going to see that here, but you're going to see the most powerful rocket ever designed by NASA take off right here in Central Florida.
Not only right here in Central Florida, but literally directly behind us. And when we're talking about front row seats here, we're not lying. I mean, it's going to go up right there. And I just feel like that, I mean, what better can you experience? And dolphins are going on, right? They're like surfacing as we talk.
The only thing that could be better is we've seen these big boats going back and forth. I think we need Boat Fox for the next big launch, and we can all be on a boat and watch this. And
can I claim that assignment right now?
By a show of hands, we send it back to Manny and Luann. I'm sure they're on board with this too. We'll bring the whole staff. It'll be a Fox 35 party on Boat Fox for Artemis III. All right, we'll send it back to you guys in studio.
All right, John, thank you.
Well, right now we have Dr. Metzger joining us from the University of Central Florida. And Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, you know, you've worked on the shuttles before. You've been in the situation where there's a countdown to launch. Walk us through what's happening right now and what this 10-minute launch hold means or could possibly mean.
Yeah, so in a countdown, the atmosphere is electric. You come in and there's just the sensation that things are happening. You're going to space that day. When there's a countdown hold, it could be a planned hold. It could be, you know, built in so that it's a breather for the team to make sure we're ready to go on. But there are a lot of times you have to put in an unplanned hold because of some contingency. A boat got into the launch range, or some sensor or the closeout crew needed additional time to bolt the hatch shut. Could be anything like that.
We're hearing from NASA that they need extra time to finish what they need to do before launch. So does that add a little bit of perspective for you?
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably an unplanned hold, but it doesn't sound like it's an emergency. They were working through issues earlier, and so they're not precisely following the plan. They've got to finish up some unplanned activities, but it doesn't sound like it's anything to worry about.
Yeah, and we know the launch window opens at 6:24. It's actually a 2-hour window, so there's no immediacy that this thing needs to go at 6:24, right?
Right, that's true. If you are going to rendezvous with the space station, then you've got to get into an exact orbital plane to do that. But they have a lot more flexibility because they're going all the way out to the moon.
And we were just told in our ears that NASA just said that they will be go for launch. Don't quite yet have what that timeline looks like, if when that's going to be coming here soon. But how tense are those moments when you do have to get into that little bit of a holding pattern?
Well, I've been in a few where it was very tense. We've had things like consoles fail in the control room. We've had 5 minutes till the end of the window, and we had to get a ship out of the way. So it can be extremely tense sometimes. But if it's just cleaning up work that they hadn't done before, the people in the control room are probably not that concerned about it.
Yeah, we also have another expert joining us this evening. It's Captain Winston Scott. He's a retired Navy captain and a former NASA astronaut. Captain, thank you for being with us once again. We want to get your thoughts on this 10-minute launch hold that's happening right now.
As you already heard, there are built-in holds during the countdown, and you expect them. And then sometimes there are unplanned holds. It's just an opportunity to pause, take a look at what's going on. It's sort of like a timeout for just a few minutes. Let's survey the system, see what's going on, and then we'll resume the count here in just a little bit. So the fact that they're in a 10-minute hold doesn't bother me at all. I don't think it's anything serious, and I think they'll be coming out of the hold here in any time now.
Yeah, Captain, you've been in outer space several times. What is this like? Minutes away before you blast off, you're strapped into your seat. What does that feel like as an astronaut?
They have been lying on their backs for 2 or 3 hours now. It's getting a little bit uncomfortable, and you like to launch if for no other reason to get out of that heads down position. But they're getting closer and closer. The adrenaline is pumping. They're excited. They are ready to go. Believe me, they don't want anything to go wrong, and they have to reschedule. This crew is ready to go. It's like the opening bell or tip off or whatever. Let's get the show on the road. Very excited.
That's right, Captain. This is the largest rocket to ever blast off from Kennedy Space Center. It'll have 8.8 million pounds of thrust. So what would that feel like to your body?
Yeah, you don't feel the thrust per se, but I can tell you this: when the clock hits zero, see, the action will start about 7 seconds before zero, when the liquid fuel engines will ignite, and then the clock will count down to zero. Everything's looking good. Then the solid rocket boosters will ignite, and then the rocket will jump off the pad. I mean, it will shake and vibrate. You don't see it on the outside, but on the inside they can feel it shaking and vibrating, and you are really screaming your way into space. I can remember on both my space shuttle launches, we passed 100 miles per hour before we cleared the tower. You pass Mach 1, the speed of sound, in roughly 45 seconds. The profile that these folks will fly, similar to the profile we flew in the space shuttle, it will take them about 8.5 minutes to get to orbit, thereabout. And I can tell you this is cool. They're launching in the daytime. Before they reach orbit, they'll be able to look out of the windows and see the night half of the Earth coming. Okay, they'll go from day to night just before they reach orbit. So it is an incredible ride from 0 miles per hour to 17,500 thereabout in only 8.5 minutes. It's no doubt in your feeble mind you're going somewhere. You're going there fast.
Wow, that just sounds so incredible. Anxiety is building, isn't it? We're all like super excited for this to happen. Dr. Metzger, I wanted to talk to you about this Artemis II mission. Why is this so important, and what are they going to be doing during the 10-day mission?
Well, this is a shakedown for the vehicle. It's our first time putting humans on board, and we're going to test how the humans are able to respond to the isolation, being so far from the Earth. Does it affect their immune system? How does the radiation affect their health? There's going to be testing of new communication systems. So it's shaking down a lot of things that are going to be important for the entire Artemis program going forward.
So we know for the first 24 hours they're going to stay in Earth orbit and kind of check all the systems. How does that process work?
Right. Well, when they get to orbit, they want to make sure that everything is functioning before they commit to going to the moon, because you can't just turn around halfway there. And so you want to make sure it's a healthy spacecraft. In addition to that, they're going to be continuing to check their health throughout the mission, even when they're in Earth orbit. And before they leave, they're going to change their orbital parameters a few times, going to more eccentric orbits. And then they're going to release some CubeSats that will do experiments in space. And after they release from their upper stage, they will do some tests whether they can maneuver around with the upper stage in close proximity.
All right, I'm going to have you hold on just a second here. We want to get back out to Fox 35's Esther Bauer. We understand, Esther, that the clock behind you has started once again. Give us an update.
Well, you have to see it to believe it. And yes, we do have movement here at KSC press site. Look at that countdown clock. It is moving. I'll tell you, when they first announced this 10-minute hold, it was a little bit stressful because NASA has really had to have their A game on. 2 technical issues they have really had to troubleshoot within the last hour. But we do understand, as you guys were just saying, they needed some more time to figure out, get everything done, which quite frankly, that is an understandable thing because they have so much to figure out before we get this rocket off the ground. So they took a little bit more time, NASA did, and we here at the press site saw more people taking some pictures by the countdown clock. So I think everyone was using that 10-minute hold to just take some deep breaths. There's a lot of stress right now, a lot of excitement building, but it feels so good right now to see this countdown clock moving. Oh my gosh, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. And we just want you to see right now the rocket behind me, because once we get this close, I just think so much about the crew on board, about their families, what they are feeling, all the work that they've done, all the preparation. These astronauts, they really believe they've been training their entire lives for this one moment, and now to be this close to making history, to traveling the furthest in space that any human ever has before. I get emotional thinking about it. I can't imagine what they are feeling inside that capsule. So we are really looking good here at the press site. We are so excited for that crew, and really the entire world is just watching them and can be inspired by them. The hard work that they have put in to train for something that they've wanted to do for decades, making their dreams a reality. I think the entire world can get behind that. If you have a goal, go for it. And we're seeing that right here with this Artemis II crew. And NASA has really shown up with their A game today. They have gone above and beyond, dealing with every single curveball that this rocket wanted to throw at them, that the capsule did. Some batteries were having problems. NASA said, look, we are going to do our best to make this happen. And it really looks like we are getting closer to seeing that. So the countdown clock is still moving in that 6-minute marker. Press site is still getting even busier. We were seeing some people kind of lounging out on the grass, having a picnic. Everyone is now standing up. We are in go mode, game time. So exciting to be here and to really get through that 10-minute hold and now see this countdown clock getting even closer. John, Hannah, I know you guys are wanting to get on this Fox boat in the future, but I'm going to stay here at the KSC press site because you cannot beat this view. So I will have to join you on the Fox boat another time.
Okay, sounds good. Esther, we'll talk to you in just a bit. You know what? There's really no bad spot to view this from. If you can see behind me here, guys, we've had a pretty decent crowd file in. You know, we were out here early this morning. There were a few people around, but as we've been going throughout the day, more and more people have been filling in. So we're 6 minutes to launch now, and like we said, so much to look out for. This is the exact same launch pad where we had some of the Apollo missions go up, where also we had some of the shuttle missions go up. So again, there's a little little bit of history and a whole lot of future getting ready to happen here. You just saw the video we have here behind us of all the people, and you know, it's funny because behind me I see lots of people walking back and forth too. I just took a picture down the coast. There are people just everywhere. So again, my hope is that no matter where you are in Central Florida, you can walk outside and see this this moment of history with about 5 minutes left. And you know, as the mission goes up, there's still a lot of things to look out for. This is the exciting part. And you know, when we were listening on one of the NASA calls earlier today, we heard that the astronauts were able to sleep until 9 o'clock, so they had a good night's sleep. We just had Captain Winston. We were talking with him earlier this morning on Good Day Orlando about what's his mindset just before launch. He said he went to sleep in the chair getting ready for the launch. He was all propped in. He was out. That's how relaxed the astronauts are, because they've gone over this time and time and time again. There's so many mechanisms in place, for fail-safe mechanisms, like Esther talked about, the suits. You know, a lot has changed since the shuttle missions, since the Apollo missions ended in the last one to the moon in 1972. So of everything, see, there's another boat going out right there. That's a great way to watch it. So again, with so many things that have changed over the years, you feel more and more confident about these. And you know, one more thing, guys, this is a kind of a big pride issue for our country, because we're leading the way once again in something like this. And so I think it's something we can all be proud of. It's not a lot that brings our country together. A moment like this is certainly going to do that. So this is history in the making. So I'm going to send it back to you guys. I know it's getting ready to start. We're going to take the NASA coverage. We're going to turn around and watch history here, guys.
John, you brought up Captain Winston Scott. We actually have him with us right now, live here on Zoom. So, Captain, talk a little bit more about the pride you feel as an American watching this. We're heading back to the moon further than any human has ever gone before. What does it mean to you as a former astronaut?
Absolutely, it is a source of pride, and the pride is not only because we're going back to the moon, a place where we should have been for a long time now. The pride also is that we've expanded the space program so that it's so much more inclusive. It includes minorities, it includes women, and our international partners. You know, I was fortunate enough to, on my shuttle flight, we had a Japanese astronaut, we had an astronaut from India, astronauts from Canada, and so on. So the space program has always been a great uniter, a unifier, and we certainly need more of that in the world today. So I'm very proud of what's happening from a technological standpoint, but also from a social standpoint. It really is exciting. I'm just as you can tell, at a loss for words for how great this all seems to me.
2 minutes, 52 seconds to the launch time. And Dr. Metzger, what about the pride for the teams that are on the ground getting to this point?
Oh my goodness, unbelievable pride. You know, when I was a kid, I watched the Apollo missions and my dad worked on that, but now it's our turn. You know, we've been working for decades in the space program and we're finally going back to the moon.
Yeah. Captain Scott, let's talk a little bit about this Orion capsule. It's about the size of a large SUV. What is it going to be like for these astronauts to be in that for 10 days, doing everything they got to do? That's some pretty close quarters.
For being an astronaut is you can't be claustrophobic. You also have to get along with your buddies very, very well. I think the selection process does a pretty good job because you take a bunch of type A personalities, bring them together, and then they have to live and work together in space. And you probably heard Reed Wiseman, the commander, talking about it earlier in one of his interviews. When you work and train together as we do for space flight, all the barriers come down. You get to know your buddies very, very well. And that's important. It's important for mission success, but also important for the crew getting along together. And as you know, on something as critical as a space mission, you have to have the utmost confidence in your companions. Your life depends on it. The mission depends on it. So all barriers go down, and everybody gets to know each other, and you become one crew. You gel, almost become the proverbial well-oiled machine is what the crew becomes, and that is so important to do.
All right, there is a live look at the Artemis II SLS rocket sitting on the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center. We are getting very close, Manny, to liftoff here.
The time is here. We're 1 minute away. Let's listen to the NASA feed for this countdown.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
GLS, go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch. Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon. Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon. Have you the same.
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour. Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready. Copy all, Stan. Integrity, SM priming complete. SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state, ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour. Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view. Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02. We see the same on board, Stan. And Houston has you loud and clear on Tigris at the Kármán line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Just amazing. I'm still shaking.
We were talking about how powerful it looked to even watch on TV.
Right.
That you could see the 8.8 million pounds of thrust in action at work.
Yeah, we're going to get out to John and Esther and everyone who's out there on the Space Coast. But first, we want to bring back in Dr. Metzger. Doctor, let's just get your reaction to seeing that amazingly powerful launch out there.
A great sense of relief and amazing pride. I feel like I'm having tears come to my eyes because the whole world is watching, and we just are successfully putting people up into space. They're in space now. They've just crossed the Kármán line.
Yeah, and we're waiting now for the MECO at 8 minutes, the main engine cutoff, and then that core stage falls. How important is that? And is there ever like a moment where you're like, okay, now we're at a safe stage?
So MECO is one of those moments. Releasing the boosters is another one, and we've gotten past that.
Right.
But main engine cutoff is a big moment, and everybody will breathe a sigh of relief when that happens.
Okay.
And Captain Scott, to that point of the nerves for these astronauts, when do those finally start to settle?
I tell you what, they were settled all the way up. Those guys and gals are having a good time. It's a fantastic ride. They're excited about it, enjoying every minute of it. You can't see it or feel it, but they were being pushed back into their seats at 3 or 4 times their own body weight, and it remained it will remain until it stops. There's nothing you've ever ridden on in your life that continuously accelerates that way. That's why we can go from sitting on the pad at 0 miles per hour to 17,500 thereabout in only 8 minutes, because it's just a constant acceleration. But they're watching the gauges, they're watching the computers.
I think we're having a little bit of trouble with Captain Scott's Zoom reception here.
Yeah. Let's get out to anchor John Brown. We want to hear what it was like. I mean, no one's ever felt this before. This is the largest rocket to ever carry humans into outer space. So, John, let us know. What did it feel like? What did you see and hear?
Unbelievable. I mean, that's really all you can say. As you know, we didn't feel the sound for probably, Hannah, 15 seconds, because it was quite a ways up, and we're like, where's the sound? Then it started rumbling. Here it comes. And the reaction, I want to bring in Peggy here. Peggy, come here for a second. I've got to know Peggy out here. She's in town from Georgia here.
Yeah.
What, all right, you were in my audio, I'm sure, talking about this rocket launch. You were saying what everybody else out here was thinking. What did you think about what happened?
That was awesome. I've never seen nothing like that in my life, and didn't hear that noise. And then to see that thing way up there in the sky and the noise way back here is like, oh my God, the world is so exciting.
Your response was the best, though, because you were gasping. You said this is the first one you saw, right? And you were gasping. Why did it seem so awesome to you?
Because I always saw it on television, and back in the 60s and 70s, you know, they said it wasn't real, and it's real. It is real, and I'm so excited about it. My son invited us to come. He was on vacation in Kissimmee, and he's like, you want to see a lifetime experience? And I was like, what is it? He's like, space. I was like, yes! I love it. That was awesome, and I'm 65, and I would have never thought that I would saw anything like this.
Well,
that
Peggy,
was awesome.
I'm glad you said your age. I wasn't going to bring it up, but we know the last time we went to the moon was 1972. So were you old enough to remember the last time we went up? Because I've been talking about the historical component of this all day. So how does this compare in your history?
Yes, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and moved to Georgia in '72. And so I grew up with the Queen Elizabeth boat, going to Disney World, learning to swim, and growing up with NASA, watching I Dream of Jeannie. And now to see that it's really real, it's just awesome. Well, it's a thrill, and everybody was so nice, everybody was so excited. This is something that once in a lifetime experience, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy right now. I got cold chills.
I'm glad we got to experience it with you because she was having a blast. So when you hear the sound behind us in our audio, that was Peggy. Thank you so much for being with us today. Great to meet you. Hey, thank you so much. So again, it's Hannah. Come over here real quick while we're talking about it. So Hannah and I were sitting together. What were your thoughts about what happened?
I'm still shaking. Honestly, we are out here as spectators. We're obviously doing our jobs too, but you and I sat on the rocks out here watching the whole thing, the sights, the sounds, hearing people gasping. Yeah. And then it's magnificent. It's a sight. And I will say there seemed to be a little bit of a roar here when the boosters separated. Yeah. That is always a sight that it's successful. It's a great launch. Oh, I got a little bee friend. What do you think, John?
Well, what was cool to me is we heard Captain Winston just before the launch. I had said, as an American, it makes me proud because of nobody else is doing what we're doing right now. We're so far ahead of anybody else. And you see a moment like this, and it's just captivating. And when everybody cheered together. I mean, you heard Peggy over here. She's cheering, and there was an Asian family right here. They were cheering. That, to me, heartened me because it shows we can all appreciate something so special.
I feel like I have a little bit of a different perspective from you. I'm not American. Wasn't born in this country. The UK is not part of the space race like the US is. Obviously, I'm a citizen now, but to see this is the American dream realized. It's just unbelievable.
Yep. All right, we're going to get over to Esther because she was even closer than us, so I'm sure it shook her. We felt the rumble over here for a long time. So Esther, give us the perspective from where you are.
The countdown at 10 minutes. Well, John, the perspective was incredible, and the sounds that erupted here from the press site was just pure jubilation. So many cheers from all of this media around the world, jumping up and down, clapping their hands, screaming. Everyone was so excited to see this rocket lift off so successfully and so smoothly. But I want you to take a look at the weather, at the thrust, at the clouds that this rocket left behind. I mean, look at this vapor that is still in the air from that 8 million pounds of thrust that blasted off, sending this crew to space. And we've been hearing so much about the American pride that this mission has. I want to zoom in right now to this American flag and the Artemis flag waving underneath it. I think that just is setting the stage for what America has been planning for, trying to achieve, and now literally making happen. Guys, we have a crew, a team of 4 on the way to the moon right now, furthest than any human has ever traveled before. So there is an immense sense of pride. The Artemis generation is strong. Everyone around the world was literally watching the Space Coast, and what a show we were able to put on. You have to keep the viewers coming back and kind of engaged for what's to come, and we saw that. NASA had some problems. They had to pivot. They had to figure some things out, but hey, they did it, and they did it in the nick of time. Guys, they got off right when they wanted to. They had a window open until 8:24. They said, we don't need 2 hours. We can get this rocket off the ground, and they literally got it off at the beginning of the launch window. So as far as media-wise, everyone's still, I think, just taking it in. We have crews out here with tripods, photos. I'm sure everyone is looking at the photos they were able to capture. I was definitely filming on my own phone this rocket going off and then seeing the vapor that it was leaving behind. So I think everyone is still just trying to really process what they saw, process the fact that we are literally moon-bound as we speak for the first time in more than 50 years, seeing a part of the moon that no human eye has ever seen before. I cannot imagine what this crew is feeling, but they are so trained. They are ready to go, and now they're literally doing it. They're not training for it. They're not thinking about it. They're not dreaming about it. They're legit in the capsule right now going to the moon. So absolutely incredible. And I love hearing, I can hear everyone's live shots because we are shoulder to shoulder media wise. We have different languages, different accents, literally media from around the world, Canada, Brazil, South America, all here on the Space Coast right now seeing this happen. And I'm thinking a lot about Jeremy Hansen. He is the Canadian astronaut that's on board. Guys, this is his literal first time in space. So what he's experiencing right now, he has never felt before. The other astronauts, NASA astronauts, they've been to space. They've spent a lot of time at the space station. But Jeremy Hansen from Canada is sitting in the capsule, strapped in, going to space, a place he only could dream about or see in sci-fi. He is literally doing it for the first time in real life. So I'm sure Jeremy is feeling some type of way in that capsule. He has definitely prepared for it, a first-time flyer on the way to the moon. So absolutely incredible. And we know they're going to be in close quarters for this 10-day mission, about the size of a small 6-person tent. But I really don't think they care. They just want to be going to the moon, and they are right now. So just incredible. And I am so happy that NASA was able to make this happen. And for some context, NASA faced some problems. I mean, we were out here for a rocket rollout several months ago, and then we were back out here when they had to roll the rocket back because they were dealing with hydrogen leaks, they were dealing with helium leaks, just major issues that didn't make it possible for them to launch this rocket. NASA's new admin, Jared Isaacman, came in and said, look, we are going to get back to basics. We are going to make this a routine situation, and we're going to get back to the moon quickly, and we're not going there to just plant a flag and, you know, move some dirt around. We're going there to stay. And so we're really seeing that happen. NASA was able to fix all those problems. And what I find so striking about this is the historic nature, but this is literally a stepping stone to Mars. And that's what I love thinking about. Every person we've been talking with out here isn't just talking about, oh, we're going to go around the moon. We're going to see things we haven't seen. It's going to look awesome. No, this is about finding sites where future astronauts can land back on the moon. And again, not just land to plant a flag, but land to build a moon base. Guys, we're talking about astronauts living, working, staying on the surface, and then being able to propel themselves from the moon as this moon base onto Mars. So we are literally seeing that happen in real time. This Artemis generation is not just about visiting the moon. It is about going to Mars and going to deep space. And we just saw that happen here on the Space Coast. Incredible, once in a lifetime, can't forget it, but we'll send things back to you in studio.
Esther, I just have to know, you've seen many rocket launches out there. You're a tiny little thing. Did this thing just like shake your inner organs or what?
Luann, let me tell you, it puts me on the ground, feet up in the air, can't even move. No, I do okay with the rocket, but it's just so incredible. You feel it in your chest. You feel the ground underneath you. You hear the sound. I was like, should I have brought some earplugs? We were okay. But no, the rocket is the world's most powerful, and thankfully we're still making it through.
Awesome. So good out there. Esther, thank you for all your perspective. It's amazing to hear you describe it. You can just feel what it must have been like being out there.
Yeah, you can hear the passion in Esther's voice and the payoff that it is to have covered this for so many months in the build-up to be there for the moment. Esther, quite the assignment.
History in the making there. All right, Esther, thank you. Now we want to get out to Bailey Bockover. She is live at Spaceview Park in Titusville.
Yeah, that's where we have seen crowds shoulder to shoulder all day. We saw some kids in trees. What are they thinking out there, Bailey?
Oh my goodness, it was just truly incredible. By the way, that crowd is dissipating now at this point very quickly. I think everybody wants to get out of here after waiting all day. But I'm here with Rhiannon. You've been out here pretty much all days too.
Yeah, and all night. I mean, it's been pretty much 24 hours since we got here to hold this spot at the front.
And where are you from?
Originally from Ireland, then London, and now I drove down from New York.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So what was that launch like, and have Have you seen one like this before?
I mean, this launch, there hasn't been one like this before, for starters. I mean, this is a new generational shift in terms of space. And I mean, in our lifetimes, we have never seen anything as epic as this. I've attended launches in SpaceX, at Boca Chica, and it's such a different environment. But to see the return to the moon in person and to see a woman and a person of color who are going to make history, I mean, it's awe-inspiring.
It's incredible. Now, I couldn't help but notice your sweater. So your sweater says, "I was promised a trip to the moon, and all I got was this lousy shirt." There is a huge story there.
There is. So I was one of the 8 selected crew members as part of the Dear Moon mission, which happened in 2021. We were kind of publicly announced. And then for 3 years, it took over our lives. And the mission was meant to do a loop-the-loop of the moon, just like Artemis II, and retracing the steps of Apollo 8 with artists instead of astronauts to create a new Earthrise. And the project was cancelled, and so since then I've been making work kind of inspired by that mission that never happened, but also all of the people that inspired me in the process of thinking about what I would create.
Rhiannon, that is truly incredible. Well, I'm glad you got to see this, and I'm glad you had such good seats, even though you had to wait here all day.
Yeah, seats.
Seats. But thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, that is just one story out of the thousands that are here today. It was truly an incredible sight. I had one person describe it as hopeful. Back to you.
Bailey, one question, if we can ask Bailey a question, was just how loud it was. I don't know if we're going to be able to get back out to her. That was something that we had talked about, how even some of our folks out here, when they stepped outside in Lake Mary, they could hear a little bit of a rumble. You are a heck of a lot closer than we are. How loud was it where you are?
Oh my gosh, well, there was about a 15-second delay for that rumble, but you could feel it kind of in your soul. It was just like, and it was just truly incredible. Everybody was out here, was screaming, "We're going to the moon!" It was an incredible thing to see and hear.
Yeah, we could hear the cheering in everyone's cameras out there as people were really excited and the loud roar. Bailey, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're going to be back with more Artemis coverage in just a minute. We have to get in one quick break, and we'll be back on the other side with much more. This is the moment the Artemis II rocket blasted off from the Space Coast about 25 minutes ago. That is history in the making. Thank you so much for joining us for our extended Artemis coverage. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm Manny Martinez. The 4 astronauts have now started their trip toward the moon. It's the first time we've gone back in more than 50 years. Fox 35's Esther Bauer had a front row seat to the launch. She is live at the Kennedy Space Center. Esther.
Hey, Manny. Yes, and I can tell you the media that's out here is still so excited, trying to take in this amazing historic moment. We're joined right now with Zach Aubert from the launch pad. Now, you've probably seen Zach because he joins us quite a bit on Zoom. But Zach, you're here in person. Yes, and you got to see this live. Just talk about that. How amazing was it?
Just an incredible night. The fact that we're 24 minutes into flight and we've got a moon rocket on our way. We've got a Canadian on his way to the moon for the first time. It's surreal to be here. I think we're all probably still on a high that once it comes down, we actually really get to take in what we just got to see. You can't beat the cloud plume that you get from an SRB when you know those have launched.
The cloud plume was incredible. I cover a lot of the SpaceX crewed Dragon missions, but that plume is nowhere as big as what we just saw here. Yeah. So when you were getting into the launch countdown, we had that 10-minute hold that NASA just needed some more time to figure some stuff out. And then when we were getting closer, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, I mean, did you really think this is going to launch?
I wasn't sure. You know, there's so much has to go right. And with the crew on board, you know, you're going to be extra careful. And when we went through those go, no goes before Charlie's and then went through Charlie Blackwell Thompson's go, no go, it just all sounded so confident. And that was so amazing to hear that it was like, oh yeah, we've had these little issues, but they're no issue. We fixed them. Like it just seemed almost easy, which I know it wasn't. There are thousands of people in that building working. And it went so well and it was so smooth of a countdown. I think, you know, today is near a perfect countdown to a launch, and it's just surreal.
And so we were chatting a little bit. It's so crazy to think about that this is a historic mission, but really we're going to be getting into a situation where we're just going to the moon. We just launched to the moon. How does that make you feel that this is not going to be a once in 50-year happening? This is going to become a routine just cadence of Earth to moon, and then eventually to Mars.
Well, I was lucky enough to be here for Artemis 1. So being back here, you know, what are we, about 3.5, 4 years out? It's nice, you know, we thought we were going to have to wait years. No, we'll be back here next summer.
Yes.
You know, who knows, as soon we get the, you know, within a year, we'll get the moon rocket back on the pad, another one. And I think that just changes it. You know, we're so used to Starlinks, you know, people call them almost boring at this point. These are moon rockets. These are a different thing. And there's no one in Florida that didn't know that we just launched to the moon.
And really, quite frankly, I would argue there's no one around the world that didn't know we just launched to the moon. The world is watching. We've had hundreds of thousands of people on the Space Coast. You had a literal front row seat. How did this launch compare to seeing Artemis 1, some of the issues that they faced, to seeing what we saw right now?
It definitely was a smoother count. We didn't have to set out the red team that I know got everyone kind of on edge with Artemis 1. It's daytime. You know, so many of us wanted a daytime to see, you know, the SRBs are amazing, but to actually see that rocket in flight was truly incredible. You know, and now we get a beautiful Florida sunset to cap off the day while we wait for the crew to have their solar array deployment. And it's just incredible.
So, okay, talk with us. This is going to be this 10-day mission. What science or what sightings are you most looking forward to what the astronauts share?
I think one of the ones that was kind of a surprise even to the crew is that they're supposedly going to have an eclipse actually when they're on the far side, and that wasn't possible in the earlier windows. So I'm excited to see what they can capture with that, because it's most likely going to happen when they can't communicate with us. So that's going to be really special for them. A personal one to me is CPR. They're supposed to do a CPR demonstration. I've had that directly impact my family, something everyone should know, and the fact that we're taking that to space and learning how to do it. We know how to do it on the station. You know, you can't just do CPR when the person floats away, right? You have to learn how to do that, and that's what we need to know to go live on the moon and then go on to Mars, is how do we pivot the things we know here to then do in space.
What do you think the astronauts are feeling right now? Like, we've seen this crew and they seem calm as cucumbers, just doing everything that needs to happen. I'm over here, a little stressed bunny running around, but how do you think that they're feeling literally doing this?
I wonder when it hits them that this isn't the simulation. You know, they've done thousands tons of these. We've heard from astronauts before, you know, you strap into the vehicle and you're like, oh, it's just another day in the simulator, and then those SRBs hit or the engines turn on and you're like, oh no, we're actually going to go to space today.
Yes.
I can only imagine what Jeremy's thinking, his first time up experiencing zero gravity there, having the zero gravity indicator rise, floating around the cabin there. It's just incredible to think Orion is now up there with 4 people in it, experiencing. There's a lot to happen in the next 24 hours to get us onto the moon, so it's not like they're going to have too much of a break. Right. We got a lot of demonstrations to do, but I think they're just excited to finally get to do those things, right? You've trained for years, now you actually get to go out and do it.
And talk with us a little bit too. NASA really wants to test the Orion a little bit closer to Earth, so they are going to be orbiting Earth before slingshotting themselves towards the far side of the moon. Speak with us a little bit about the fact that this is still a test flight, and NASA really does need to learn and test the system.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the next 90 minutes or so, they'll stay in a low Earth orbit, and we'll have a burn then at that point to put us into a highly elliptical orbit. That will really take the next day to go through. Once we get to that point, that's when it's the determination: either we don't do anything and they come home tomorrow night, or we burn again and then we have our TLI and we are on our way to the moon and there's no turning back at that point. And I think that's where, you know, we're all watching to see. We also have the proximity demonstration that they're going to do. There's a lot that they need to test. NASA spoke, I think for the first time only a few days ago, confirming they also have plans that if they can't TLI, they actually have an option to go into an Earth orbit mission where they won't actually complete everything, obviously, that they were wanting to do, but they don't necessarily have to come home tomorrow if they could successfully go into an orbit around the Earth. So NASA's got thousands of contingencies for every single thing. You sneeze wrong, they've got a contingency. And, you know, they're going to make the most of this mission. But, I mean, if today was a sign on how Orion's going to go, I think this mission is going to be one that's incredible to watch.
Absolutely, Zach. So good to see you. And yes, a mission for the history books. So we are hoping that they are going to get to that far side of the moon further than any human ever has before. But again, we want to emphasize this is a test flight. These astronauts are testing this system, the Artemis system, to make sure it can go to the moon, land on the moon. But just really an incredible moment here, a historic moment happening here on the Space Coast. Guys, we'll send things back to you in studio.
Esther, thank you. And we have 2 experts joining us tonight. Here in the studio is Dr. Philip Metzger. He is a planetary physicist and a professor at UCF.
And joining us via Zoom is Captain Winston Scott. He's a retired Navy captain and former NASA astronaut. Captain Scott, we're going to begin with you. We don't right now have a view inside of the Orion capsule, but what are the astronauts doing right now? Have they strapped out at this point of their seats?
Yes, they have. They've unstrapped from their seats, and they are probably folding some of the seats down and moving them out of the way to give them some more working room. They're preparing to deploy the solar arrays, I guess. You know, Orion is going all the way to the moon and back, so it can't just operate off gasoline or fuel or batteries. But the sun is infinite, so they'll deploy solar arrays and have big electrical power all the way through the 10-day flight. And they're also marveling at where they are and what they're doing. If they get a moment here and there, they'll peek out of the window and stare down at the Earth and again just take in where they are and what they're doing.
We had Esther about 15 minutes ago talk about the Canadian Jeremy Hansen. This is his first time up in space, the marveling up there. What was that moment like for him specifically? The others, they're veterans.
If he's like other astronauts, what is amazing to him is the first time he unstrapped and experienced continuous weightlessness. Never done that before. It takes a little while to get used to it, but he probably is used to moving around by now. And again, a moment that he will never forget is the first time that he looks out and down at the Earth. Then he can see how high he is and how fast he's moving. But duty calls. He has procedures that he has to follow, some projects that he has to begin working on, and he's probably diligently doing that. And hopefully his body is adapting. You know, being in weightlessness takes its toll on your body. You can feel a little bit uneasy until you get used to it. But I'm sure he'll adapt quickly and feel like a veteran in no time.
Yeah, Dr. Metzger, I want to talk about the new communication system that is on this capsule. If they do, in fact, get flung around the moon, we could see some amazing pictures and videos from this new 4K communication system, correct?
Correct. It's really cool. Instead of using radio waves, it's a laser. So they're going to shine this laser beam down. It'll shine through space and through the atmosphere of the Earth down to the surface of the Earth, where they will have telescopes that will see the signal. The beam from the laser will be about 1 kilometer wide by the time it reaches the Earth, so they have to use really precise aiming on board the spacecraft, the Orion spacecraft, to point that laser exactly at the telescope that they want to send the signal to.
And they're going to go where no human eyes have ever seen, the dark side of the moon. Are you just waiting to get pictures back to see that?
Well, we have had some astronauts go on the backside of the moon, but they were in a very low lunar orbit, so they didn't see the entire moon. They only saw the part that was directly below them. These will be the first astronauts to see the backside of the moon from a vantage point where you can see the entire moon. And yes, it's going to be stunning. It'll be similar to what happened in Apollo 8, where we got the picture of the Earthrise coming up behind the moon. I'm expecting something like that.
Yeah.
And Doctor, we've talked about how just important this mission is, and it's a stepping stone to get to a moon base. That's NASA's goal. Without these lessons that we're learning, we're not getting to that point, right?
That's right. This is an important step. We're not only testing out the hardware, but we are testing how humans can perform in that environment far from the Earth. During the Apollo program, we were more rushed trying to beat the Soviet Union, and we didn't have the scientific capabilities that we have today. So these astronauts are instrumented. They're taking samples of saliva and blood samples before and after the mission to see how their immune system reacts. And this is going to help us understand how humans can work on the moon and later on Mars for the long haul.
Yeah, Captain, I want to talk to you just about this one step and the many steps to come. This is one of many. We are hopefully going around the moon, then we want to go on the moon, then we want to build a habitat on the moon, and then go to Mars. Kind of break down for us what a habitat on the moon would look like.
Well, that's the $64,000 question, or whatever it is. We're not sure exactly what a habitat on the moon would look like. Probably the first habitat will be a module that's already built. We can deploy it and live in it while we construct permanent living quarters. And the reason for going to the moon is just that, to learn how to live on the moon. Can we build quarters out of moon regolith? Can we grow food in moon regolith? Is there really water ice on the moon? We think there is, but we haven't gone to the moon and gotten any yet. Can we harvest that water? Can we refine it to drink? Can we refine it to take the oxygen out and make hydrogen and make fuel? So those are the things that we're going to learn. We'll probably start with a single module, then we'll add other modules, then we begin to construct structures and so on, and then pretty soon, in some number of years, there'll be a community on the moon, and that community and what we learn from living there will help us to take the next step, which will be off to Mars.
Captain Winston Scott joining us via Zoom, and Dr. Philip Metzger joining us here in person. Thank you to you both here joining us for our special coverage of Artemis II, man's return to the moon. We will be right back. We're here until 7:30. Stay with us.
booster ignition, and liftoff.
That was the moment Artemis II blasted off into outer space. It is now circling the Earth. It'll stay there for about 24 hours, and if everything goes as planned, it's going to be slingshotted to the moon and surface around the moon for about a few days before finally coming back to Earth and splashing down into the Pacific Ocean. Boy, that was quite the sight to see. You are joining us for our extended Artemis coverage this evening.
And how fun it has been. So many smiles on so many people. Thank you so much for staying here with us. The 4 astronauts, they have now started their trip toward the moon. It's the first time we've gone back in more than 50 years. So let's get out to Fox 35 anchor John Brown. He is live for us. John, you had a blast. You were mentioning just how much of a spectacle this was.
It really was. And, you know, I don't have any numbers to back this up, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's the most documented launch in history. Why would I say that? Well, when you had these launches back in, 1972 was the last rocket launch. You go back to 68, all those. There were no cell phones. Now you get a launch where everybody's experiencing the same moment, and add another layer on the top of that. How do a lot of the cell phones work now? How do a lot of the broadcast industry work? The signal goes up to Starlinks, which is also rocket launches. So it just shows how far things have come. I want to catch our good buddy here, Craig Patrick. He's our good friend. He works with us quite often here, and he shows up right next to us today, which was awesome. I'm interested in your perspective. You're a big history buff like I am. You've covered so many of these over the years here in Florida. What are your thoughts on what we just witnessed here?
It's about time. It's about time. You have Apollo astronauts who say we should have kept going and done this 50 years ago. Right. But certainly since the probes of 2008 and 2009 found that there was ice beneath the surface, and we realize that that is a source now of fuel that can be electrolyzed and used for a permanent moon colony, and also used for crewed flights to Mars, and done so cheaper and more efficiently once you build to scale than you can do here on Earth. You see, it makes sense. It's not just a you can see real potential, and that it makes a lot of sense for us to go back to the moon, and this time to stay with plans to build that colony in ways that can do real big, important things here on Earth.
You know, another thing that struck me was I was out here for the last shuttle launch and landing back in 2011, and I remember how cool that was. We were on the runway. The old photojournalist, Red Huber from the Sentinel, got that great shot of it coming down, and I remember looking at that picture. And as cool a moment as that was, it made me sad, because that was the end. We had no plan. And you and I saw what happened over here. You could buy a condo on the beach for $50,000. There was no industry, no jobs. And now flash forward to where we are right now. You can't get a condo over here for $50,000. Everybody's rushing this way. So it's cool to see that we're on the right path when it comes to the space industry, I think.
Well, we canceled the shuttle without a glide path to something else, and that was a real problem for our economy and for our community and for our pursuits of space. We had to rely on the Russians for a taxi lift into space. But now we have a long-term vision, and there is science behind it, and there is payoff here on Earth. So it makes tremendous sense. And with that, think of the payload that's going to have to come into the Space Coast to support one mission after the other every single year. That's the new plan with Artemis 3 next year, and then Artemis 4 in 2028, and then a mission after that. With so much payload, think about that. Companies are going to want to move where? Instead of incurring the cost of transporting all of that, they're going to want to move to the Space Coast. And that will continue to fuel our local economy as well as we aim for the moon and far beyond.
Yeah, and the ships are going to come right through here, drop off. I mean, it's going to be good for us. All right, just got a couple seconds left. We've covered a lot of big stories over the year. What was your reaction? What was your thought hearing the people reacting to this launch? It gave me chills. It still gives me chills.
Well, it gave me chills because they weren't cheering at first, right? They understood the importance of this. They wanted to document it, as you noted, with their phones. They didn't want to encroach on that. And then only after you saw the separation of the boosters, then, you know, the energy you saw, the adrenaline burst didn't have to be contained anymore. And then you heard the cheers, and then people who were breathless and talking to us, I think you heard one of them thinking, I just can't believe that I saw this, came all the way from Middle Georgia and said it was well worth it and then some.
Sometimes we take it for granted. Craig, I know you got to get on the road. Good to see you, man.
So
I will talk to you soon. So again, it doesn't matter how many times you cover these. It's always cool to see see it. Luann, you and I have talked so many times about this being one of the special things of living here in Central Florida. Well, now, I guess raise the bar a little bit more. If we see more and more like this over the next few years, you're going to want to switch seat. You're going to want to be out here. I'll be back there next time, and Mandy and Lou. But what an experience, and I'm glad if people got to see it here. I just hope more people get to see it down the road because it truly was something I'll never forget. So, all right, we're going to have to pack up right now, and of course, we'll have more coming up tonight at 10 and 11. So I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, John, next time we are trading places. I still haven't seen a rocket launch, and that was one for the record book. So good for you, my friend. You will be here next time. And hundreds of thousands of people are out there, like John, watching this launch live on the Space Coast. And we are now getting some of your pictures and videos here in the studio.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Laurel Blanchard joins us now with some of the viewer perspective. Laurel, you got a lot of pictures.
Yeah, we got a few pictures for sure. Lots of photos are now starting to come in of the rocket actually in launch. But really, what we're seeing a lot of photos of is people coming together in order to watch this launch. So we actually got a lot of photos from viewer parties that were happening, and even before the rocket even took off. Here's a look from Jamie at the Kennedy Space Center. This was actually sent in to us yesterday, but it's already bringing people together. And here's a couple of the watch parties that were sent in to us. This was sent in today of all just well wishes of everyone gathering in along the Space Coast. This is from Susan Trapp, again, from the Kennedy Space Center is what we're seeing here. And then even just continuing to take a look at some of the watch parties here. We're seeing thousands of photos on social media of people just glued to their TVs, and like what we were here in the station, a lot of us even ran outside in order to get a view of this rocket. Here's from Peggy taking a look in South Dakota. This photo was sent in. We're also seeing just lots of people taking selfies from our coverage of what we can see. This is Variable writing in, and this is David White coming in from Vermont as well. We're also seeing people writing in from Apollo Beach. So even all over Florida, we're seeing all of this watch parties just coming in, and you can just see, here's a photo from Jacksonville. This is from Wendy, and you can just see how many people are just coming in and watching us and watching this launch that just totally brought the nation together. Here's another one. This is from Silverdale. This is from Elizabeth, and we can see right here just a lot of people were really just hoping for this launch to get underway, and it was just an amazing sight for that. So we can see there, and probably one of my favorite photos, you can see this is a viewer photo. This is from Luis, and this is from Davenport, Florida. And again, this launch could have been seen for miles. So we are getting great photos in. So if you would like to send us your photo, you can scan this QR code right here, and we would love to see your photos. You would need to give us a little bit of your information so we can show it on air and online, but send those videos and photos in. We would love to see them. Stick with us. We'll be right back after a quick break.
is now heading to the moon, and now hundreds of thousands of people are trying to head home. Here's a live look at traffic moving out of the Space Coast right now. Look at that. Wow. It is bumper to bumper on all the roads, almost definitely along the beach line.
Thank you for joining us for our extended Artemis coverage.
Yeah, we want to thank Dr. Metzger for coming in and helping us with our coverage. It was really fun.
And Captain Winston Scott, too, who thank you both for spending your afternoon here with us.
We appreciate it.
It was a historic day.
Yes, it was. Everyone's going to remember where they were today. Well, we will have much more of our coverage coming up tonight on Fox 35 News at 10. Thank you for joining us.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 407-888-8000.
Today on TMZ. Okay, it's the biggest thing since Scandival. There is a felonious girl code violation.
Bombshell news with Summer House fans. Amanda and West have confirmed their long-rumored relationship. West is Sierra's ex, another girl on the show, and Amanda is Sierra's best friend. So it's a little messed up.
If you believe in girl code.
Girl code is a thing.
You guys would really turn down the love of your life because a long time ago they dated one of your friends?
Like last week.
That's 7 days. Yet more members of Congress are taking advantage of the government shutdown by getting out of town and enjoying lavish vacations. In this case, we had congressmen at this castle in Scotland, a real touristy place.
The Edinburgh Castle.
Do you have issues with them being at the castle in particular?
I have issues with seeing these people going about their lives when there are thousands of people who are just not only just struggling financially, but it's affecting their mental health and physical health.
So Lizzo lost her virginity in her 30s. She was on the Friends Keep Secrets podcast. She talked about that. She made a pact to herself
that I wouldn't have sex until I won a Grammy.
What? If people followed that rule, like
Leo would have had his first lay.
Leo finally.
Sharon Stone. She says there's too much blatant sex on TV these days.
Sharon Stone?
I know, Sharon Stone of all people. She did an interview with Gayle King.
When sex scenes come on TV, I fast forward.
You do? You should be able to do what you want, but I've lost interest in watching a lot of them, so fast forward.
Did you watch Heated Rivalry?
Nah, too gay for me.
Wow!
Was it too gay for you?
It was gay enough.
Team Sierra, for sure.
That's John Hamm officially picking sides in the Summer House drama! And in case you missed it, Amanda was married to Kyle and is best friends with Sierra, who once dated West. But now...
Amanda and Wes have confirmed their long-rumored relationship. They came out confessing to the hidden relationship.
They were always friends, their connection grew, blah, blah, blah. But now it's out in the open and we can celebrate their newfound love!
It's really messed up.
Or not, because even though West and Sierra broke up 3 years ago and Amanda and Kyle are separated, people are screaming, "Girl code violation!"
Here's the thing, everyone always says, like, oh, you can't help who you love. True, but you can help who you date.
Do you say, yeah, we love each other, but there's a girl code, so we can't pursue it?
Correct!
Shouldn't we just bang who we want to bang?
Yes!
If you met the woman of your dreams right now, you are leaving your wives to go be with somebody
No, you know, you're missing the point.
But the answer is yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
A tremendous mission control team that looks at every variable, and if something's in a red line, you call it out. And, you know, things perked down, and it was great. I've gone through, you know, again, I'm getting out there, but I can't tell you how many Apollo launches I went through where there was always some kind of little glitch, and you just want to get that under control. And this team, with the new software, the new capability we have at NASA, it proved the day, and they got that thing off. And we've got a little bit of way to go. Don't get too confident. I'm a reporter, so I'm always semi-pessimistic about something going wrong. We got solar arrays out on the vehicle. Things are looking really good. We got a day to go before they can fire the button to go toward the moon. So let's see what happens. We got a lot of checkout, but we're underway. We're going back to the moon after 53 years.
Yeah, that is so well put. And obviously, that is the next hurdle where they'll vault themselves toward the moon in such a big way. What is this crew doing right now? Because they said over and over that they have a busy day ahead. And it felt like they almost slept in a little bit. I think it was like a 9:30, 9:45 wake-up call. What do they have on the slate? What is the crew doing right now as they kind of ascend around Earth?
Well, they've already activated some of the engines on the capsule, so they know that the vehicle is in pretty good shape, as far as I can tell. Again, the big thing was solar array deployment. That was great. Got to have power. And things look like they're checking them out one by one. And this four-person team, we got 3 NASA people, a Canadian astronaut. They have been more than prepared for what they're doing, and because of delays and all the other issues. But I'm fully confident that this is the crew that's going to take us back to the moon, and let's hope it all works out. There's a lot of technical issues. They're going to check out the life support system. That's very important. I live here in Colorado, and Lockheed Martin built the Orion capsule. We've got some ways to go here before we get too embrace of the moon. We got a lot of checkout to do. Again, I'm a little bit on the pessimistic reporter side, but things are really looking good.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Orion capsule. They're trying to withstand and understand how much it can handle in terms of the space travel, because it's going to be up there for quite some time. This one for the 10-day mission, but beyond, potentially into a month. What checklist are they going through to make sure that the Orion capsule is the capsule needed and necessary to get beyond just the moon?
Well, again, you know, if you're living on board a space capsule, the life support system is very critical. So, and the other thing that's kind of a weird story is the solar activity. You know, you don't want radiation being thrown out while they're en route in this 10-day mission, you know, or getting, you know, 3 or 4 days out to the far side of the moon and coming back. So we've got to watch that. A lot of interesting dynamics here. So, you know, but it's so much fun. It is really fun. We are back after 53 years of getting people moving outward to the moon, and wait till you see what's coming. I mean, that's my view. Wait till you see what's coming. This crew is really a milestone flight for the beginning of a return to the moon, a rebooting of the moon, and keep an eye on China. I'm a big reporter on China. They are very anxious about how this mission goes and how their own Chinese human landing is going to happen in the next few years.
Yeah, that is a very good point. You mentioned the crew several times, and I want to put up this because it's hard to fathom what was going through their mind, what emotions they felt as they were sitting strapped to this 322-foot rocket. And these were some of the images prior as they were getting on board, and they felt like they were laughing, they were having a good time, they were enjoying themselves as they were getting strapped in. There's so much protocol around everything going on, the hatch finally closing the door on the Orion capsule, and everyone kind of keeping their distance from this going on. But we talk about the crew and how important they are. Can you describe what they do, what they're monitored in terms of the health of them? Because as you mentioned, it's not only about life support, but it's about the ability to kind of stay in shape aboard a Orion capsule. They're going to be working out. How much are they looking into how these individuals handle this space travel?
Well, the cool thing, you know, they have been doing some preliminary looks at simulated far side observations. So when they're out there, when they get to a trajectory that's going to take them out there, they know what they're going to be looking for on the far side of the moon as they circle back to the Earth. And they've got some great opportunity there to see part of the lunar surface that has not been viewed by humans in the Apollo program. So, you know, it's a great time. I will say, again, you got to be cautious here. The reentry at 25,000 miles an hour back to the Earth is going to be another nail biter. I don't have any nails left after the launch. So I'm kind of worried about that. That's a human thing. But, you know, I'm worried about that reentry. We have some issues that cropped up on the Artemis I launch that people were very worried about, reentry of the heat shield. So they have a heat shield that they're going to do some special maneuvering, and they're going to try to lessen the heat load on that heat shield. And, you know, Commander and the Earth Control have got to be very precise, and one hopes everything goes very well after a 10-day voyage to the moon and back.
Yeah, that is so very true. You kind of set the stage of what those kind of obstacles, those stages are. And you can see Victor Glover there and Christina Koch. Those were the individuals in this image right now. Lloyd, I want to continue on because you mentioned what happens potentially in a day's time as they will be shipped off toward the moon. What are you looking for? What signals from Mission Control and also the Orion capsule that would signal everything's going to plan? What do you hope to hear in the next 24, 48 hours?
We're go. we're go for trans-lunar injection. You know, it's, you know, this is a test of the Orion capsule. Make sure that all systems are good, life support, control systems, propulsion. We're not, again, I'm a little, I'm always worried about every step of the way. You got to make sure that everything is on board and everything is ready to go. Then you got to watch the sun, solar radiation, and all the other stuff that's coming. It really is, and I think I'm going to be a little corny here. If you jump up 25 years from now, this is not the way we're going to the moon. This is a lot of work, a lot of energetic problems. We've got a lot of issues, but this, at some point, this is going to look like the Wright brothers going. 1903 or 6 or whatever the time frame was, we're doing space flight now the best we can do. This is not the way it's going to be 25, 50 years from now. So get ready, strap on, because a future is waiting for us right now, and you won't believe what's coming.
That is so very cool. My last question before I let you go, because you mentioned just the historical nature of it. We talk about everything that's going on. You talk about some of those other components. What else are you keeping your eye on to make everything sure it goes all right?
It's just, it's the safety of the crew. And I think we're going to hear some great comment from as they go around the moon and far side. Who knows what they're going to see? Who knows what observations they can make? It's coming back and re-entering. It is, I tried to grow my nails long for this mission, and I'm down to the quick already. I don't know where the quick stops and starts, but I'm there. Let's go, man. This is going to be fun. I hope it's energetic for the astronauts. And I think it's going to propel America into a new opportunity in the 21st century.
It's truly incredible.
Exploration.
All right, Leonard, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You, amongst everyone else watching here with us on Live Now from Fox, obviously our heart stopped a little bit as they finally had that countdown go to 0, and it did eventually lift off successfully. I appreciate your time, your insight, as always, here on Live Now.
I'm going to turn off the heart pump.
Me too. All right, talk soon. All right, great conversation there, breaking it all down as we were just having this. 6:35 and 12 seconds. That was the launch time exact of Artemis II on its way into the Earth's orbit, and then soon enough around the moon in soon time. This from social media, NASA Artemis, saying the Artemis II mission, the 4 crew members will travel some 685,000 miles, looping around the moon back to Earth. The mission follows a free return trajectory that uses the gravity of the Earth and moon to naturally guide the crew home. So there's lots of different facets to this, including some of those wings, some of those solar array wings that would use the energy generated from the sun's rays to help them maneuver in this kind of trajectory around Earth. And the next big hurdle is that one, the jump from Earth's orbit on their way to the moon, about 250 or so thousand miles away from the Earth. So we're following it all here on Live Now from Fox, and I know so many people around the country and around the world are also tuning in to this coverage, and we want to put this up here on Live Now from Fox and other individuals tuning in. Here you can see from Story S, saying, my husband and I are watching Artemis II launch from our home in Wild Horse Mesa, Colorado. You can see there, watching Live Now from Fox as that 4-person crew going liftoff. Norfolk Virginia, I believe. G. Stewart saying, our first time watching the launch. The poor beagle there turning around likely for that launch. And also some kids, and they talk about it, inspiring a new generation. Those are the words from the launch director, Charlie Blackwell Thompson, saying Michael and Maverick watching from Florida. Highland Beach there from Christina. You can also share your photos. That QR code at the top right portion of your screen will take you to the page where you can share those images. Ezekiel also saying from Nigeria, so happy to see the complex process that goes into this historic flight. So not only people here in the United States, but beyond are watching. Nairobi, Kenya, saying they're watching. Austin posting this on social media, posting this and sending it our way, courtesy of that QR code. So if you are watching, if you watch the Artemis launch unfold, as so many, potentially millions of people did, you can also tune in, send in your images. Again, that QR code on the top right portion of your screen will take you to that page where you'll be able to upload, submit it, and add a caption to us here on Live Now. I'm Andy Mack. We're back after this. All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Still chills following that Artemis II launch as they four-person crew now in the orbit around the Earth, soon heading on their way to the moon. As you can see here, a Live Now look at Kennedy Space Center, 75 degrees. This was the launch pad in which it lifted off. And of course, this is courtesy sponsored by autoparts.com. So this was the site of this historic event earlier on today. So we're continuing to follow it here on Live Now from Fox as it happened. The four-person crew will fly around the moon without stopping or even orbiting, then heading straight home back for a Pacific Ocean splashdown. They will set likely a new distance record for the farthest humans have ever traveled from Earth as they zoom some 4,000 miles beyond the moon and then hanging a U-turn back here to home. But this was an image that is captured on social media. Fox News posting it, saying the Artemis crew launching the history books, blasting off aboard the NASA Orion spacecraft on a mission around the moon, the first crewed journey beyond low Earth orbit in more than 50 years. This is just Artemis II, the first crewed portion of this program. They also have an ambitious schedule over the next several years in 2027, 2028, as they hope to be putting boots back on the moon in some of the next journeys. Let's take us out right now to Rebecca Castor on the ground on Space Coast of what we witnessed, how historic it was today.
A historic day for NASA as the space agency embarks on its first moon mission in more than 50 years.
10.
A historic launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. For the first time in more than 50 years, NASA is attempting to send humans back to the moon.
Houston, integrity. Good roll pitch. Roger, roll pitch.
It's a great day for all of humanity.
But Artemis II is not about landing on the moon. Instead, the Orion spacecraft will orbit Earth twice before slingshotting towards the moon. Orion will go around the dark side of the moon, and the astronauts will go deeper into space than any humans before them. The primary purpose of the mission is to test the spacecraft itself and the astronauts' equipment ahead of future flights.
They're going to be testing the systems of this rocket, specifically the human life support system.
NASA has grand plans for the moon. Future Artemis missions will put astronauts back on the lunar surface. Then NASA wants to establish a long-term presence there, including a permanent base.
We are not going back just to put the flag, leave the footsteps, and bring back rocks. We're going back to stay.
That opens up a whole range of research opportunities and potential discoveries.
The moon doesn't have an atmosphere. It doesn't have an active geology. So we could find tremendous amounts of very valuable resources.
All of this in pursuit of an even further target, sending humans to Mars.
It used to be he who controls the seas controls the world. Now it's he who controls space controls the world.
If all goes according to plan, the astronauts will return to Earth in 10 days, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean. At Kennedy Space Center, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
All right, and today was a big success, a ringing success, but there are still many other challenges beyond our horizons this 10-day journey. Obviously, slingshotting them moonbound before some of those next portions, Artemis 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously moonwalking in the future. All right, I'm Andy Mack. You're on live now from Fox. Let's